Hello gamers, happy Sunday, welcome to the live stream. Hello, hello. Welcome guys, thank you guys so much for the support already. Thank you for the super chat hero number, and thank you, Anonymous has bought some cool new merch, and Blue Streak Blazes has also got some new merch too, so thank you guys, that's really cool. Welcome to the stream. We have a lot to talk about today. It's gonna be a bit of a doozy. So hopefully we're all ready for that. Alright, so... boy oh boy. It's gonna be a long stream. And I've got my camera today. So hi, I'm Hawley, otherwise known as PetPyves. I made the old cat cartoon, 12 Origins. But I also made Brightside Mass RPG. And I also made Persona Project. I use all pronouns. You can't mess it up. You really can't. Also, thank you hero number again for the super chat. That's super cool, dude. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Alright. So. Oh boy. Yeah, year 12 of Persona Project. Wow, it was a bit of a cheerful year, honestly, despite some of like the heavier episodes in the beginning. I really think it was one of the good years so far for Persona Project. So, I'm excited to talk about that. And before all that, I'll get all my stream stuff out of the way here. So yeah, there's some lovely fan art up above that you can submit if you would like to. There's a link in the description. It's open all the time, even when the streams are off. And I got a few fan art features that were not relevant to the channel. They were just completely random OCs and stuff. That's not really accepted. It has to be kind of relevant to something on the channel, like making your own eras for your own Persona project. That's acceptable, but just completely random Warriors OCs does not count. Just so everyone is aware. So, yes, that is open, and you're welcome to donate to the stream. It supports the channel. Right now I'm saving up to get a new drawing tablet. Mine is on its last legs, which is super helpful and appreciated. And we've got new merch. I'm actually wearing one of my favorite pieces. It's the Brightside shirt. This is literally my favorite shirt. But yeah, now we have posters and mouse pads and buttons, so I want to show you some of them. I have some adorable little... I got the tiny comfort crab pins. They're really cute.
Hi, Bali.
Hi, Autistic Nugget. I'm not bald! Do you see this? Do you see all of this? I am not bald. Yo! Lost Woods!
If we is right and we the spoons in a world that is cereal, then why should we let other people tell us what spoon we should be?
Amen! Amen, Lost Woods! Oh my gosh, I hope you enjoy your merch. But yeah, we have all these little cute little buttons. I got the Comfort Crab set because I'm on a Brightside kick. And these are really good. They're really good quality. The colors are really vibrant. I'm really happy with them. I always test my products before I sell them because I don't want them to be poor quality. I'll be really sad. The mouse pad is stunning. Like, I got the Devil mouse pad and it looks so good. It looks even better than like on the website, like what it advertises. Like, it is so vibrant and colorful and it's really nice. Like, genuinely really like it. It did take a little long to be produced. It was a little bit slower, but it was so worth it. Like, the colors on this are phenomenal. You can literally just rotate them. It's so cute. Oh my god. No, I really like it. The posters are amazing. I couldn't get them up on my wall because they are kind of thick. But they are really awesome. This is the larger of the posters for size comparison. Look at how freaking big they are. Like, it's like half my size, but they're beautiful. The quality's really great. The quality's really, really great, guys. Like, I love it. So, I got one of each because I really want to have each of them on my walls, but the 12 posters, so cool and so nostalgic, and it has all of the characters on it in pocket watches, which is so cool. The Persona Project one is really vibrant and colorful, and it's upside down for some reason. I did not put these in a very good order for this. But yeah, this is like a really, really pretty Persona Project piece. Colors turned out really beautiful. And yeah, that's kind of all of the merch that was dropped today. Is posters, mouse pads, and buttons. There's more available on the website. But I tried to make them as inexpensive as possible. I know the posters are a little expensive to ship, but they do ship very nicely in like this very industrial like packaging. So I was like, dang, why is shipping so expensive on this? But actually it's so they don't get damaged, so just so you're aware. But yeah, that's all of my streamer spiel. Now for Persona Project. Yeah. Year 12 was an interesting year. It was a little weird for me to work on personally because of how, like, happy it was. Like, my therapist really wanted me to, like, dive more into the mundane and, like, the happier episodes of Blackbird's era, since so much of it was messed up. And before I dive into this, I do want to just cover the fact that we're going to be talking about some pretty heavy topics here today, and I want you guys to be careful. So I'm gonna list off the content warnings here. So things that we're just going to talk about generally today are abandonment. We're going to have some pretty intense emotions rev up here. Censored blood and gore. I don't really draw that kind of stuff. Alcoholism is kind of a major thing. Abuse, emotional abuse more specifically, suffocation's one topic in this, someone has an asthma attack, themes of neglect, depictions of illness, and broken bones and fainting. So if you aren't cool with any of those topics, I'll try to make sure I warn you before I talk about each specific one, but that's kind of a general warning. So also, do not spam in the chat. You are going to be put in timeout. Like, it's not silly or cute or fun. Like, I will put you in timeout for a long time if you do that. Thank you. I will be answering questions as much as I can today, but I'm also just going to be talking a lot about the episodes and going through each one and showing you the animation behind it and, like, all the little details and extra stories that might come with it.
Can't stay for the entire live, but also fries and
Oh, thank you, Cherry Stem. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, my freezer's full of French fries right now. Yeah. Many people have noticed the Viva Pinata soundtrack was in the background of this year, and it was a really important game to me at the time. My favorite pinata was the Newt Cat. So, yeah. Alright, so... okay. The first episode was Makeover, which is basically where I got, you know, the color palette for Blackbird, which was I came home one day from school, and basically, after complaining about how horrible middle school is and having to walk home in the rain, I came home to find that my entire bedroom had been renovated by Jim, my stepdad, and he basically made it like this really neat, like, almost like retro, kind of blue and turquoise theme, and it was awesome. Oh, Rabbit, thank you!
Comfort crab money after 8 years.
Thank you. Comfort crab thanks you. Comfort crab's somewhere on my shirt. Somewhere. Comfort crab thanks you. No. But yeah, yeah, I got this whole room decorated and everything, and I only have one piece, like one tiny thing from my room from this era, and I have a little bead from the dangly bead curtain. I almost dyslexic that really bad. The dangly bead curtain. I have one little piece of it. It's like, it's actually got a little bit of like iridescence to it, but there was a bunch of these little circles on strings, and it was like covering the window seat, so I could like be in there and like hide in my little waterfall of beads, and it was just really cool, man. I'm so sentimental, and like I used to save stuff like this all the time. So yeah, that's just like the only piece I have from that entire room is that tiny little thing I showed you. Like when it comes to like coming from a traumatic background and you're like fleeing that situation, you don't really think to grab like anything. So the fact that I have anything at all is a miracle. Have I had any dreams or messages from Jim? No, Ivy Crafts, not lately. I actually had one last night from my grandmother. My Mimi was actually in my dream last night. It's very surreal. I'm really in touch with spirits, and I've been very much like a medium lately for a lot of spirits and messages and things. I'll get to it. I'll get into it later, but yeah, it's gonna be a thing in Persona Project several times over. But yeah, no, my Mimi visited me last night. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, so this was my room that got made over, and it was such a lovely surprise. It was one of the best days of my young life, was getting like a real like teenager room, you know, like I got like a big kid room. And Jim had like hand built this window seat that had like a chest underneath it so I could put all of my millions of stuffed animals in there. It's exactly what I did. And I got a real door. And a lot of people forgot about the half door thing, that I had a half door all of my life. Yeah, it took until I was like 12 to get a real door. If that tells you anything about the neglect and the abuse and the lack of privacy. So that was literally this entire episode was just talking about my room and like how it was such a safe space for me. And one thing that he did do that I didn't cover too terribly much was that he got rid of a lot of the clutter and the hoarding stuff, because both my parents had hoarding tendencies. My mom more so had like a sentimental hoarding tendency where she would hold on to every little thing because it had like memories and stuff attached to it. And so she'd keep things in like boxes up in closets and out of sight, but they were still like full to the brim of stuff that we just didn't need. And my dad was the opposite. My dad just like had stuff everywhere. So I had like a lot of hoarding in my family, and Jim cleared out my closet. Like, it was the first time I've ever seen my closet's color, because when they painted my room several times over, they never painted the closet, and my closet's actually yellow, like a very light yellow. And I remember opening the closet and being like, the wall's yellow? I feel like I never knew that. I've never seen the walls in my own closet. But he hung up all these shelves and he organized everything for me. And he didn't really get rid of like anything without my permission, except for like obvious trash that needed to go, like food and stuff that was in there that was not safe to have in there. But like the respect that that man had for me and my stuff and my space, like I have no words other than I love him and I appreciate him so much. Like, oh my god. So that was something that was in the background that I just kind of briefly mentioned. But yes, my brother did get a room makeover as well. He got like this fuchsia color, like this purple, like this dark purple, and his room was like this really like enchanted forest kind of, like it was like cats and like flowers and like plants, like, but it was like purple and pink and like dark blue. It was really nice. Like it was like very like interesting of like a palette, but it was just, it worked. It was all the colors he wanted. And like Jim was so like interior decorator brain that like he knew how to like make it work. So it was really nice. But yeah, he got his room made over too, and I just thought it was a really sweet line of like, I'm a hero but Jim's mine, because even heroes have heroes, and I think that's really sweet. So sweet little intro to year 12. Corker Wormchild, do I like crystals? Hawley era is a crystal girly. Hawley era is obsessed with crystals. Oh my god. I have some right in front of me, actually. I have a little jar I filled with, like, crystals. And I have, like, selenite. I have a big old chunk of citrine, because it's supposed to help with your stomach, because I have stomach problems. And I have all of the nightmare, kind of fixing gemstones, like amethyst stuff. I literally have gemstones right in front of me. Like, I love rocks. I'm autistic, of course I love rocks. I like your shirt. Thanks, Calvary. You can buy it on my website. I love being a walking billboard for my own art. I'm just like, I made this. It's such a conversation starter. People are like, wow, I like your shirt. Like, I have my one that says in my healing era. I get compliments on that one a lot. And they're like, that's a really powerful message. And I'm like, boy, you should see my YouTube. Oh my god. Oh, the chroma fan art. That's amazing. Oh my god, chroma fan art. That's amazing. I'm so excited about all the art today, guys. You guys made such cool art. We're gonna ignore all the bald Hawleys. They don't exist. But yeah, first episode, really easy, simple. For this year, I really tried to cut down the time of the episodes and really make them more concise, because throughout Blackbird's era, I feel like I've gotten a little out of hand when it comes to some of, like, the timing being, like, really long episodes, and, it was just easier for me to work on when they were shorter, honestly, so, in case you're wondering why they got shorter, it was literally for simplicity's sake. But that means I can also talk more about them in these live streams. So this one is called Abandoned. This one has themes of abandonment, lots of crying and screaming and distress, just so you're aware. A parent leaves and I think they're not coming back. That's the theme of this one. So we were recording a Neopet comedy video, and this is where I introduce our favorite character, Bob the Cannibalistic Flying Goat. Now, I don't know if you've seen a trend in Blackbird's interests lately, but cannibalism's up there, and I don't know why. You know, kids like weird shit, and, and I was a weird kid, so I was just like, yeah. So he's a cannibal, and like, that song by Kesha, freaking Cannibal, was like all we listened to. We like made it, this is what we were making the music video to, and anyways, so we were attempting to make a Neopets comedy, like, little AMV, right? Oh, thank you, Cassette
Hey,
Girl.
Hawley, I'm back. I got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Where did you get the Persona Project fonts? And did Wild Child like Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yo Gabba Gabba was a little after my time. I was a 90s kid, early 2000s. And I think Yo Gabba Gabba was more my brother's era, honestly. Like, that was more his time. The fonts? Oh god, I don't even remember. It's been so many years. I'd have to go and find them. I might be able to figure it out though. Give me like 2 seconds. I bought them. I bought the licensing for my fonts. Because I care a lot about supporting font artists, because they're one of the most underappreciated artists out there. And very, unfortunately, exploited. I'll try to find the name though of the fonts that I have here. I don't know if I have the name of the artist. Let's see. I'm trying to find the name for you guys. If I can't, I will try to like leave a comment after this and be like, ah, yes, let's see. I know it was a bundle. It was like 259 fonts I bought, like several years ago. Yeah, I'll try to figure it out later. Just know I have the licensing, but like, dang. I'll have to find out where the artist left it. I know there's a text file in that, like, folder somewhere that has the artist's, like, name and everything. I just gotta find it. Good question, though, but thank you. I will answer that later in the comments when I can thoroughly hunt that down. All I know is that I, like, basically googled, like font licensing and, like, went on, like, Etsy and, like, stuff like that, looking for them. Arthur, the disorders cannot talk. That's a huge thing for me. I don't want to say my depression- oh, that's my depression talking. That's kind of dismissive and not responsible. In my opinion, like, I like taking accountability for being like, yes, I'm mentally ill, but I'm not going to blame everything on my mental illness, because then that doesn't make me grow or heal in any kind of way. So, comfort crab pens! Let's go!
Buttons rank greater than D.
Buttons rank greater than D. It really made your raw short. Yay, comfort crab buttons! Oh my god, that's so fun. That's literally so fun. Now we're gonna match! But yeah, we were working on Neopet comedy together, and we were in the playroom. Like, we dumped glitter on all of our other Neopets to pretend it was, like, quote-unquote blood. And we heard, like, Candy and my dad arguing, And my dad, like, slammed the door and left, and it sent me into, like, a panic, and it was really weird for me, because, like, I had never, like, gone into a panic that quickly before. I've never, like, had the like, instinct or, like, inkling that something like that would happen. Like, I never thought my dad would leave, like, get so angry that he leaves, and, like, for whatever reason, like, I started freaking out thinking he was never gonna come back, and, like, I think that thought says everything. Like, that instinct says everything to me. And so Clockwork, who represents my PTSD, my complex PTSD, starts spinning out of control and starts panicking out of, like, a PTSD response, of abandonment. Because I have, like, some pretty bad abandonment wounds. You can see that throughout Persona Project, but I remember screaming out the window at him to stop and not to leave us there with Candy. And me and my brother, like, my brother freaks out whenever I freak out, so he was freaking out because I was freaking out, and it was a whole freak out. Because he just decided to, like, leave and not tell anybody where he was going and if he was coming back, and, like, you know. And so I have this important note here that as a kid, the thing I took away from that was to not trust my instincts, because he came back and he gaslit me and he told me, like, of course I would never leave you, blah blah blah, like, you know, like, he was really mean to me and was just like, why would you ever think that? Have I ever done that before? You know, like, all the gaslighting and abuse you can imagine that would follow. So then I really started to doubt myself and not believe my own instincts and say, wait, but Dad came back, so I must be wrong sometimes. Like, I freaked out for no reason. I'm just stupid. No, I'm not. My instincts were right. And that's kind of what I'm doing here, is kind of healing that part of my inner child by looking at her and going, no, you were right. Even though Dad did come back, you knew that, like, this person would abandon you at any chance that he got, and you knew that that was our future, because it is our future. Like, my dad completely, to this day, is not blocked on my phone. He could call me right now, but I know he won't, because he abandoned me. So it's one of those things where I had to, like, remind myself that I was justified in my emotions in that moment, because I was told that I was being a delusional little crazy hormonal little girl, which is horrible to hear, because then I never trusted myself and I just thought I was crazy. And half of this project is just proving that I'm not crazy and that everyone around me was crazy. So that's that episode, was just kind of revisiting something that I used to be like. The original way I wrote it was like, why am I so upset? Like he's never done that before, like, and I'm like, dude, I know why I'm upset, because, like, my gut knew. So it's one of those things. We're learning, like Blackbird has a huge theme of intuition, and, like, intuition is a very important thing when you're a survivor. And trusting yourself and believing in yourself is really important, so that's why those themes are present. The next episode is Bonfires and Sparklers. This one has themes of alcoholism. Just talking about, like, the days where alcoholism was not a part of my life and how much I treasured them. But it makes it a little more sad when you realize just how few and far between that was. Do I have a photographic memory, Winter? Yes. I do. My trauma response is to hyper-remember every detail I possibly can in stressful situations. I often forget happy things. I often forget neutral things, but the bad things I remember in such clear detail, and that's why my PTSD is very bad, because when I have flashbacks and I have bad dreams, it is very, very, very realistic. It is like, I'm there again, because I remember everything so detailed. I know a lot of people tend to have the opposite. My brother has the opposite. He doesn't remember anything. Some people just only remember the good stuff, or not even anything at all. And, like, that's entirely valid. That is just your brain protecting you, and that's how it chose to do it. So yeah. Let's dive into Bonfires and Sparklers, because I really like this one. I really had fun animating all the little details, and like, I love doing all the stars sparkling in this one. There's just so many beautiful little animations in this one with the fires, and it's just talking about how my dad made a tradition of having bonfires in the backyard, playing his guitar, and like, actually I do have this lucky penny somewhere. I couldn't find it before stream, but my dad gave me a lucky penny one time he got when he was a kid, and like, you know, normal family dynamic stuff that I really treasured because I never had normalcy, but when I did, I ate it up, as a kid. And we had a telescope, we would look out, and I was very much into, like, space and stuff. Like, you'll find out, like, in Parker's era, my brother's room is literally space themed. Like, we're big space people. And the whole theme behind this is that we were so lucky if the adults just chose to not drink. We'd literally lay on the trampoline, we'd see shooting stars, we'd just enjoy life, and it would just be some of the best days of my life. There's a brief frame where Figment isn't clouding my memory. Because with a lot of the happy memories, I tend to not remember them as well. And I tend to get clouded by only focusing on the bad stuff. And so that's what this is kind of portraying, the fact that I could actually see this memory in crystal clear, kind of HD. And my dad was literally the pyromaniac that made me a pyromaniac as a kid. And he always had like a million fireworks, I swear to God. But we would run around with sparklers and fireworks. My dad would set them off in the backyard, and it was the first time in my life, I think, I'm gonna talk about it again in year 13. Fireworks come up again. I actually, like, overcame something. Even in, like, this really bad time in my life where there wasn't really much room for healing because I was still actively being wounded, like, every day, I still managed to heal naturally on my own, and, like, that is really important to note, because even at your worst, you can still overcome. And I think that's, like, a really important message, that even though I was in crisis after crisis after crisis, like, I still had it in me as a young child to say, no, fireworks aren't scary. I just had a bad time when I was younger. And so Wild Child had this big fear of fireworks, but Blackbird gets over it. And, like, I think that's really important to talk about, the fact that even if you're not in the best spot, you can still heal. Like, it wasn't something I intentionally did, it's just something that naturally occurred. Like, so I had Blackbird kind of look at Clockwork and was like, no, like, it's not scary. It's actually really pretty. It's like an art. And we literally take our sparklers and, like, hold them all the way out and pretend to be airplanes and run around the backyard. And I loved animating the sparklers. It's just so much fun. And here, I'm just talking about, like, how happy memories tend to hurt. They're pretty painful. Like, I don't know what it is for me with my personal narrative, but saying the happy stuff hurts worse than the sad stuff. Sometimes it's just, like, it's so bittersweet. It's just, like, sometimes I'd rather it just be black and white. I'd rather it just be all bad, and I could write it off as bad and just move on. But that's not how life works. It's very nuanced, and, you know, good things happen even during bad things, and it makes it very gray, and I think that's very normal, and we need to normalize that more, for sure.
Nafflemeek, thank you for sharing your truths and experiences.
Of course!
Here's some more fries money, cousin.
Thank you, Hot Dog! Thank you, dude! You're always so sweet. I love having you on the streams. Thank you so much for the donation, dude. That's so appreciated. Oh my god. But yeah, that was a fun episode for me. I really think that one hit a soft spot of remembering to cherish the good times at my dad's house specifically. My therapist had to work on this one with me very hard. It was so hard for me to be like, I don't remember a single good thing that happened in that house during this era. And I was like, oh, well, we did have bonfires sometimes. So If these episodes seem a little random, it's probably because they're very few and far between, and I really wanted to highlight them. As per my guidance from professionals, which I always recommend if you're starting a personal narrative. It's pretty important. Alright. Next episode is called Getaway. It has some pretty intense themes. We have some domestic violence. We have cops are in it, police officers are in it, just so you know. That tends to be a huge trigger for me. Even just seeing police lights or sirens tends to set me off sometimes. Like, I have bad police trauma. Just so you're aware, this episode's very heavily centered around those things. Yelling, fighting, yeah, all that good stuff. So, this episode, I was in charge of making a vacation plan for our family. And lots of people were, like, really concerned that, like, everybody tasked me with making the family vacation plan. But look, full disclosure, I wanted to. It wasn't that they forced it on me, or it wasn't, like, a weird, like, the adults were responsible. It was just genuinely a practice for me, to, like, manage finances and make plans that were realistic, because, like, as a kid I didn't really understand that aspect. So I know it looks like Blackbird's doing this all on her own, but really my dad sat down with me and was like, okay, we have this amount of budget. Now, the hotel's gonna cost this much. And what else do you want to do? Because you have to think about food, you have to think about this. And so it was like a learning experience for me, full disclosure. I wanted to do this. I also have autism brain, and I really like organizing things onto Excel sheets. Dare I say I excelled at it. So I wanted to do it, and I was really excited about it, and I think that's what's important, is that I worked hard on this plan. And let me tell you, when an autistic person makes a plan, you stick to it. Okay? Especially somebody who's traumatized, you stick to the plan. The plan did not get stuck to. Spoilers. I made this whole great plan. We were gonna go to the beach, we were gonna stay in this great hotel that I picked out, and it ended up not turning out great because my dad and his girlfriend were very drunk and were fighting extremely loudly, violently, verbally fighting, and they got the police called on them. I'm not sure who called the police. I'm assuming it was probably the neighboring rooms that could hear this intense stuff going down. And I remember there was a patio, like, there was a glass door that opened to the patio. Like, we were like 4 or 5 stories up, and I remember hearing the police sirens, and I was like, no, they're not coming here. They wouldn't come, no, like, they're just driving past. Like, police sirens happen all the time. And then they got really loud, and then I could see the lights. Because it was dusk, it was just the sun was almost setting. And I was like, oh god, they are coming here. So I grabbed my brother and I was like, we're getting out of here. And so we ran down the halls, and this was back in the day, by the way, where, like, people left their cars unlocked. Because what we did in order to stay in, like, the exercise room of this hotel was we went to my dad's car, and we looked. He had, like, this little cup full of coins that he had in his car. We took all the coins and we got vending machine snacks, and we literally stayed in this exercise room for hours. I mean hours, playing on, like, the treadmills and stuff. Which, by the way, I feel bad for any of the adults who were, like, trying to actually exercise, because there's just these 2, like, snot-head kids, like, playing around in there with no adult supervision. From their perspective, I'm sure that was very annoying, but, like, from my perspective, this was my safe haven, and I'm very glad nobody told us to leave. So yeah, we were just hiding out here. I very much remember, we actually, like, made these little, videos on my phone. I used to have, like, a Razor, like, flip phone, and we actually made, like, I took my little flip phone and we were making, like, like fail compilations. Like those didn't really like exist yet, but we were like pretending to have quote epic fails. And so my brother would pretend to like fall off the treadmill and go whoa, and then like we cut the camera and be like, oh, epic fail. You know, just like 2010 stuff. So like that's what we were doing in there the whole time. And I remember there was an exercise ball. We were having so much fun with it. But I really wanted to emphasize the fact that the police, like, walked right past us and had no idea. And full disclosure, nobody got arrested. I really wish they did, honestly. That would have made my life so much better. But as always, the police fail. In every aspect they're supposed to not. I don't have very much trust in my justice system, if you can't tell. From day one, the day I was born, they failed me, so... I'm not the biggest fan of them. And I mean no offense, I'm just traumatized, and it is not something that has gotten better over the years, it's actually gotten worse. So... yeah, I'm sure they just got talked to, question mark. I don't really know what happened, all I know is that, no one came. No one came and looked for us. My dad never was like, hey, where the hell are my kids? Like, just waited for us to come back to the hotel room pretty late at night. I think it was like 9 o'clock at night by the time we went back. And we just went straight to bed. And we went home the next day. Like, we just went home. Yeah, so that was Getaway. And we're coming up on kind of the end of, like, the more sad episodes. This is, like, the last one, and this one was crazy. This is called Truth Hurts. This episode was by far one of the most intense episodes I've ever made. So fair warning, this is just, like, I don't even know how to put a warning on this one. Screaming, crying, yelling, drunk people revealing dark secrets and ruining childhoods before your very eyes. Some of the most horrific shit I've ever lived through doesn't even top this for me. Like, this is one of my absolute worst memories, and that's why I decided to put it in year 12, was because I knew the majority of year 12 was going to be, like, pretty fun and whimsical and, like, very middle school, like, cringe 13-year-old stuff. But this one was the one where I was like, alright, to balance it out, because my life is an exchange, we're gonna throw this one in here because I know that this happened during this era, and I just haven't found a right time to talk about it, so here we go. This was recorded on my camera that my papa gave me. I would often record people when they were abusing me. I don't know how I knew how to do that as a child, but my survival brain, even as a child, was like, record the evidence. So, I don't know, Sorry if I get a little discombobulated, like, it's not easy to talk about. And then, like, I'm trying not to dissociate, and that's what's happening right now, is I'm not being able to talk because Figment is, like, clouding my mind, so, like, no, focus. I would record stuff a lot, and I remember this was on my dad's computer for a long time. I think might actually be something that my dad might have used to get her evicted eventually. Like, she had a restraining order, eventually. And I'm pretty sure that me taking video evidence was how we got that restraining order and how she never touched us ever again after she was evicted. Year 13 is when she gets evicted, just so everybody is aware. I know everybody's gonna be begging me and asking me. Which, complete other sidebar, pause this episode for a moment. This is a real life story. This is my life story. Please be patient. I've had some people just very much like, what's gonna happen? Oh my god! Like demanding that I answer them immediately, and like that defeats the whole purpose of episodes. Animation takes time. And this is real. This is real trauma I'm processing. I don't owe you anything. Thank you. Please have patience. I know instant gratification is a curse at this point, but God, slow down your content consumption. If you really think you need answers that quickly and information that quickly, pause for a second and think, hey, maybe we're having something to look forward to or think about for at least a day. I upload 3 times a week, guys. Chillax. I just ask to chillax, please. Alright. Rant over. Truth Hurts was a recording that I did, where I was recording Candy being belligerent towards me and my brother. This is like such a vivid memory for me. I set my camera down on the snare drum of my dad's drum set. So this is like POV, you're looking through my dad's drum set. And Candy's in the living room, we're standing backs to the camera as she's like yelling at us. An important detail I did not include in this was that there was a guitar nearby. And at some point after like where I cut off this episode, my brother ran out of the room and I grabbed the guitar as a weapon and I followed my brother out of the house because I felt like I needed something to protect myself because I thought she was going to follow us and chase us. She didn't, thank God, but that was something I left out. But it's a weird detail and I just think about the guitar thing a lot. I remember telling her, like, all of this stuff that's in quotes is quotes that these are direct quotes that I remember. I was like, everybody's gonna know, like, if you hurt us. You know, like, ha, I've got you, you can't hurt us now. You know, typical 12-year-old brain. And then she literally told me to my face, she told me, bro, she told me, she was like, they're not gonna care if you get hurt. To a 12-year-old? And an 8-year-old? Brother. Hello? Like, what? So, that obviously freaked me out, but like the way that I dealt with like my fear was that I would like double down. And so I very bratantly was just like, no, they won't. They'll care. Like, yeah, they will. They love me. They obviously don't. And I know that, but I was like, no, you're wrong. And, that's when she decided to drop the bombshell. Where she was like, hey, they didn't care when your cousin was murdered by your aunt. And at that point in time, my brother didn't know that information. Everybody had kept that from them. We had all, after they had seen the way that I reacted and how it impacted my life. Sorry, YouTube just wants me to verify right now that it's me. Hello? Of course it's me! I'm right the hell here, dog! Oh my god, it's like, please verify that this is you. Hold on, chat. What the hell? What are we I'm literally sitting here live. What do you mean it's- Yes, it's me, dog! YouTube has lost its marbles. YouTube, hello? I'm right here, dog. Like... Anyways. I don't know if this is Hawley PetPyves, guys. I better make sure. Anyways. What the fuck? Yeah, literally the worst timing ever. Anyways, I couldn't even see live chat while I was doing that, which is so annoying. But yeah, she just dumped this horrible dark secret on my brother, which had ruined my life. I grew up with the initial notion that I caused the entire family's problems by being born. I thought that my birth was a curse. I thought that my cousin being murdered was somehow my fault. I became the scapegoat. And after the effects of all that, people had just finally decided to just bury that and not make it a whole thing. But yeah, my brother got unwillingly thrown into this mess in front of me, and I had tried my whole life to protect him from this nightmare, and if I had it my way, he just would have never have known. But I don't get my way, ever. So, of course, I freak out on her, and I'm like, he doesn't know that. And, like, there was a split second I could see in her. I could see humanity in Candy. Because she is a person at the end of the day. I know everybody likes to be like, she's terrible. Agreed, but also this is like a person, and she was extremely mentally ill, misusing her medication, drunk, you know, lots of things burying who she actually is. But I saw for a split second, she looked shocked. Like, she looked like she couldn't believe that she did that. She looked regretful. She looked messed up. Like, I remember that look on her face where she, like, her jaw dropped when she realized that what she had done. But it was like a split second before she just went right back to not being here. Like, she just went back to being terrible and decided to go even worse. And she was like, oh, what do you mean he doesn't know? Does he know about Santa and the Tooth Fairy? That's basically the same thing, you know, like, you know, same level of secrets. And that is when I lost my ever-loving marbles, because y'all know a huge theme throughout my childhood was making everything better for my brother because I couldn't have it for myself. And this person just ruined it all in a split second. Ruined all of my efforts to protect my brother. Oh my god, I have so much self-control. I can't believe I didn't, like, physically attack this person. Like, Blackbird is stronger than I swear to god, because, oh my god, me now, completely different person. I would fight. I'd throw hands, but Blackbird did not. She just kind of screamed and cried. I remember having to push her away physically. I think that's about as physical as it got because she was getting really in my face and it was scaring me and her breath stinked and I was like, get away from me. So I like pushed her, but that's like the most I did. I didn't like actually like, you know, like nothing violent, just get away from me, self-defense. And I remember screaming at her like, how dare you? He didn't need to know that. And I remember being so distressed, like panic attack, full distress, just really having a big meltdown. And my poor brother like ran out of the house eventually. But the way that I reenacted this was too good. Like, listening to my own audio was triggering me because it was so accurate. Like, it was too accurate. It was too accurate. Like, I copied my emotions from the past so perfectly. It was like I was watching the video again. It was crazy. So, yeah, it was a hard one to work on because it was so well reenacted. I almost did too good of a job. But the next part of this video was purely devoted to my brother. Because sometimes he watches the videos that I put out and sometimes he doesn't. And it's his choice what he wants to remember from our past. I just want him to have the option. If he wants to remember, he can. If he doesn't have to. And I think that's really important for him to have a choice. Because in a lot of this, everyone was making choices for him, including myself. And it's not like my favorite thing about myself. Like, that was pretty controlling of me as a kid. But also, it was out of a need to protect, and now that I don't need to do that, he has the right to know what he wants to know. And so he doesn't watch everything, but for the things that he does, I try to leave messages specifically for him, because this is very personal. And to say I broke down in this recording is an understatement. You can listen to it. I just bawl my eyes out, because I felt like, as a kid, that was the moment that everything came down and crashed down and I failed. Everything I tried to protect him from, it was never There was never a chance for me to actually save him. And that was a horrible reality to come to. And live through with him. Because I remember after he ran out of the house, he climbed up on top of the boat. We had the big boat that my nanny and papa never sold, by the way. Remember how they brought me to the boat to say goodbye and traumatize me and then never sold it? Yeah. Great. So it just sat there and rotted, but we would climb up there to get away from the adults. And so I remember finding him on top of the boat, and he was just crying, and he was like, "It's not real. It's not real, is it?" Like she wasn't lying, and I had to like tell him the truth that like Santa and the Easter Bunny and everything wasn't real, and that yes, there is a murderer in our family. And it was a long conversation we had up there. It was like late at night too, and we just sat up there and cried, and I tried to tell him everything, because I was like, well, you know now, and you deserve to know everything. So, as an 8-year-old, that was probably a lot to take in. That was a hard episode for me. That's why I put it in year 12, was specifically because I knew it was going to be hard, but everything that followed was going to be like, the storm clouds were literally dissipating. So, horrible episode. I named it Truth Hurts because that was a line that actually I didn't put in it, that ended up becoming a little bit significant to me. Because I remember when we went to my mom's house after this incident, I pulled my mom aside and very seriously was like, "Hey mom, something happened at dad's house, and Candy told everything to Blue Jay, and now he knows about Auntie and the murder, and he knows about Santa and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy." And I was really, really serious and upset, and the way my mom responded, Mom of the year, guys! Mom of the century! My mother, heart emoji, her response was, "Well, truth hurts." Okay. No sympathy, no, "Oh my god, that's terrible, how did that happen, are you okay?" No, just, well, truth hurts, don't it? That's why this episode's called Truth Hurts. I was gonna add it at the end of this episode. It was gonna cut to us doing that. But it just didn't feel right. Like, after all of this heavy crying emotional stuff, it didn't make sense. So I was like, I'll talk about it later. Because there is some stuff that doesn't make it into Persona Project. But I think I'll bring it up later, because there's some other truths that my mom talks about in, like, Hawley era. And I spring it back on her. Because when I tried to tell her about other things that happened that she didn't know about, she's like, "Why didn't you tell me, blah, blah, blah," and I'd be like, "Well, truth hurts." So I will bring it back, and I think I will reference it again, and I'll bring the memory back up later. That's typically what happens in Persona Project. If I cut things, I'll bring it back up in future eras. Yeah, it was so sad to bring her into that room and to be like, "This really bad thing happened, I'm really scared," and she was just like, "Truth hurts," and she walked away. Like, my mom never wanted to have a conversation. She always literally almost physically ran away. Like, the only time you could talk to her was if we were in a car and she couldn't physically jump out of the freaking window, okay? Like, my mom was avoidant as hell when it came to having, like, a serious conversation. So, that's why she just walked away. Typically, anytime you try to have a serious conversation, she would just have one little abrupt response and physically walk away from you. Because she wasn't interested in being emotional, so, but yeah, I do tend to use her own words against her a lot in Hawley's era. It's quite satisfying. Just hang in there. We'll get there. So, that was awful. closing that chapter of my life. Very happy I got it off my chest. It was a very horrible time. But that's kind of it for the heavy stuff. Everything else we're talking about is gonna be pretty silly and quite uplifting from this point on, and that is such a relief to say. We don't get that very much in Persona Project with Blackbird, so I know you guys have had some questions. I'm sorry if I haven't been seeing them. I was going the hell off. I was going off. Hold on, let me go get... I'm gonna have some of my grape juice from my little shark cup, so give me like 2 seconds. I'll try to answer some questions. Okay. Let's see here. If the comments are disappearing, it's probably because my moderators are moderating and they're not appropriate. Just so you know, guys. I also have slow mode on for that reason, because I want to try and make sure I read most of stuff. Yeah, no, right, I love my shark cup. It turns red when there's cold stuff in it. I don't drink cold drinks when I'm doing a lot of voice stuff, because when you're doing voice stuff, you're supposed to have lukewarm drinks. Cold stuff is kind of bad for your throat. So, in case you're wondering, I'm like, dang, that's not really cold. I'm like, no, it has to be lukewarm. Like, it's on purpose. How often do I post? I post 3 shorts a week, or at least I try to. Depends on the length of the shorts. I usually try to get 3 minutes of animation done a week, and then 1 long-form video every week as well. And 1 live stream every week. I started animating in Parker's era. So when I was like 16, 17. 10 years ago. Crazy! Yo, Solar Stars, thank you! It's my Brightside shirt. I like my Brightside shirt. Oh, man. The shirts from my website are so comfortable, guys. I literally wear them like every day. Because they just don't have tags, and they're just really soft and big, and I just, yeah. Autism approved. My favorite 12 character, Willow! Willow is the autistic representation in 12, and I love Willow for that. Willow's also a big disability rep. Not that there's other disabled characters, but Willow is a wheelchair user, and as a wheelchair user, ambulatory wheelchair user, I see myself in him so much. So, I love him lots and lots. Yeah. What do I use to animate? Check the description. Anytime you have a very basic question like, what are my pronouns? Or what programs do I use? What equipment do I use? It's all in the description usually. My labels are in there and everything you need to know. Skylar Darkness, I will be starting year 13 this week. Absolutely. Did Blackbird have a Tamagotchi? I had several Tamagotchi. I have so much Tamagotchis, y'all. It's ridiculous. I've been playing my Tamagotchi Paradise lately. I still have Tamagotchis, alright? My favorite TV show right now is Amazing Digital Circus. Emma's trying. Have I finished the animation that I'm making right now? No! I'm still working on the Entity special. That'll be coming out very soon. I'm really trying to work hard on that. Everybody wants to know more about the entities from Persona Project. I promise I'm working very hard on that video. It is coming. What's my favorite era? Blackbird is climbing up there actually, but I really think Wild Child and Parker are my favorites. I've really come to love Blackbird. Like, it's been great. Impcat, dude, red is really my color, right? That's what I'm saying. Parker was on something. Like, this burgundy is, like, it. I know. Favorite Viva Pinata character? Cedos! Cedos is the best. He's just a little guy. I just love Cedos, dude. Oh, God. Second season of Origins is on pause right now, Junebugs. Persona Project is my top priority. The better I heal, the better I could make stuff in the future. I'll have my full focus on that instead of trauma work. So, this stuff takes total priority. It's it's on pause right now. Brightside is continuing, and like my gaming series are continuing, but that's all I have going for me right now. Because this animation takes forever! Alright, I'm gonna stop answering questions for a second, just so I can continue talking about these episodes real quick, because a lot of your questions will be answered as I talk about these. When's the next era? We have one more year of Blackbird, guys. We have year 13, it's a shorter year. And then Parker will be next. My teenage self. The Parker up there. That guy. Who uses he, him pronouns, which nobody's gonna get right. Oh boy. So yeah, this new episode is called Bluebird. This is where I meet one of my BFFLs. Full disclosure, I'm going to get quite serious for a second. Lots of people have opinions on this person that seem to be very positive, and I know no one means harm by praising Bluebird so much. The whole point of why I am painting Bluebird in a very truthful light is so that later, when you see everything that she does and she becomes, the impact is going to be exactly how I felt. But just as a fair warning, I don't like this person. This person has hurt me very badly. Comments saying, oh, I hope Bluebird's there forever. Bluebird's the best person ever. I'm so glad you had Bluebird, you know. Be cautious and be aware that this is, like, one of my worst abusers. And it might have started off all sweet and happy, but that's called love bombing. Okay? So just so everybody's aware, this person was a positive impact in the beginning, but it was very short-lived, and from a certain point onwards, it'll get a little intense, with how badly she treats me. It happens pretty quickly, but just so everybody's aware, I don't really enjoy the fact that people are sympathizing for her. I had a lot of people being like, oh, I know things turned out bad in the end, but maybe you should try reconnecting, or maybe she's changed, you should reach out to her again. That is entirely inappropriate, and I don't appreciate that. People who I go no contact with, I go no contact with for a reason, and you have to trust me. It is for the betterment of myself and everyone around me, and I make these decisions not lightly, and for no reason. I make them because they have a deep purpose, and this person has hurt me in ways that I cannot even begin to concisely explain. You will just have to see it for yourself. I know, horrible ask nowadays. Patience. But please have patience. And also, be wary with the praise for this person. There's a reason why at the end of this episode I have the look on my face that I do. So, I tried in the Persona Project, I really tried to show it from the perspective of how my eras at the time would talk about it. And to Blackbird, Bluebird is the best person ever. Bluebird is my savior. Bluebird is my freedom. She's the best person ever. So, like, Bluebird becomes this very untouchable, like, idol in my life, and I think it's really important when my voice dies, I think it's really important that people understand that the narrative that you are getting is coming from the narrative of a very blind, traumatized 12-year-old in a trauma bond. The description of this episode, literally, the episode after is called a trauma bond. It explains fully what a trauma bond is. So, it's really sad that not all of my friends could be wonderful people. And also, I think it's a little unrealistic to look at your middle school relationships and expect them to work. That doesn't really happen very often. So, I have good memories with these people, but in the end, they turn out to be very bad people. And they hurt me a lot. So, it's very nuanced. And I just want you to keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. in the background. So this is a very accurate retelling of how this happened. So one day at gym, I decided I was gonna dress out. Which some people were confused what dressing out means. Dressing out means you have to change in the locker room into a, like, uniform to go and do, PE in. Like, go play outside and stuff. Like, it's that way you won't get your regular clothes all sweaty and gross and stuff. But I had such trauma from the locker room. Obviously, previous years you can go watch the episode Locker Room. I often would just get an F and would just draw. I'd just sit on the bleachers and I'd draw. And I'd say, forget that. I'm not dressing out. That's dumb. So, I was sitting there and this other girl also did not dress out. And came up behind me and was like, that's a good drawing. And I remember looking at her and thinking, oh god, it's the weird girl. Because at the time, Blackbird was a little, like, follower. Blackbird was very much, like, inching her way into the popular friend group, and that was because of Redbird. If you remember Redbird from the previous year, he was a popular jock kid, and because I hung out with him, I kind of was getting in with the popular kids. It was really weird. My little nerd ass was getting involved with the popular kids, and so I heard all of the popular kid rumors, and the rumors were that this was the weird girl. Because she acted like a dog. She would sit in the back of class and, like, tear at her backpack like a dog. And I remember being like, oh god, the rumors are true. She's a weirdo. And trying to fit in that aspect, which isn't the best behavior. But I remember being really off-put by her, and my initial thought was to ignore her, so I turned my back on her, and I was like, whatever. And so she was trying to start a conversation with me, and it was really sad and pathetic that, like, this poor person was just, like, trying to knock down Blackbird's, like, walls. Because if you remember, I made an episode about how Blackbird was like, I'm never making friends again. And up until this point, I kind of stuck to that, and I didn't really have anybody I was very close to. Zara, the person you're talking about, Jill, she's still my friend, but I don't see her that much. I see her, like, on weekends and stuff, as in Blackbird's era. Like, she was there a few times, but it was getting very few and far between because my parents weren't sober enough to drive me to sleepovers and that kind of stuff. So I didn't really have many friends or opportunities to be social. Drama does that to you. So this person was just like, oh, you like cats? And I was like, yeah. And then they were like, I like dogs. And I was like, cool, it's great. And then she was like, she took out her hand to shake, and she was like, oh, I'm Bluebird. And I was like, okay. I remember shaking her hand and being like, what a freaking weird way to introduce yourself. Shaking your hand, what are we, adults? Like, this is weird. But, like, it was very surreal to look back on. Because I have such fond memories with this person, and then this person, like, utterly betrays me. It's just such a weird mixed feelings I get about this. I really like this little animation I did of, like, the kids running by. I just thought that was great, by the way. Like, I ate with that. Sidebar. But I was talking about warriors, and I was like, oh, I like cats, and I'm drawing warriors, blah, blah. And she asked me about Avatar, The Last Airbender, which was her favorite show. And I was like, ugh, Aang is ugly, he's bald. And then she was like, no, it's really good. Like, we were not getting along in the beginning, and, like, I think that really is kind of, like, charming in a way. Being friends with Blackbird was pretty difficult. Because I was actually trying to push people away. That's part of the avoidant personality disorder. I did not want to have connection. Because it would lead to humiliation and betrayal. And, so for somebody to knock down my walls and actually try that hard to be my friend was kind of the only way I was going to be friends with people. But I kind of talk about this weird instinct that I have where I can look in a crowd and kind of, like, spot one person where I'm like, that person's going to be important to me somehow. And I don't know how I know that, but I just have, like, a weird destiny kind of inkling feeling that this person, I'm gonna talk to them. Like, something's gonna happen. That would happen to me a lot, especially in school. But yeah, I picked her out of a crowd and just was like, you know what? You reached out to me first. Fine. And at first we got along, and I have good memories of that, but there's just so much bad stuff that happens that it kind of taints it all. I hate that. I hate that so much about some friendships. It's just really hard, you know? Because, like, you really want the best for people that you grew up with, and you want to see them succeed. You want them to do good in life, and it just doesn't happen that way all the time. It's not realistic. Like, I think everybody has had a friend that has had either, like, a betrayal or fallout or some kind of thing. Like, everybody can relate to that in some kind of capacity, and this is mine. Some people have a hard time accepting that. Some people want me to reconnect with this person. It's the worst idea I've ever heard in my entire life. Wait until Hawley's era. You will be appalled that you even asked me that. Yeah, exactly, Sam. Thank you. Yes, kids don't understand what they're doing is unhealthy. And it's, like, something you have to notice and, like, break that pattern of. And, like, for Blackbird, this was me seeking a trauma bond. Like, something to cling on to during this really hard time in my life. It's really obvious in retrospect, but in the moment, I was 12 years old. Like, how am I gonna know that? So here comes all of my fun middle school stories. I hope you're ready for some really silly antics, because we have some very silly episodes here. Next episode is 183 Pretzel Jail. This is a very unjust episode where, we were being yelled at by our administrator, to not run in the cafeteria. And then people ran in the cafeteria past us. And so she was like, hey, you were running in the cafeteria. You don't get to eat food now, which was super illegal. I know this. I know that. I'm fully aware that is not legal. But, like, this was, like, 2000s, guys. Do you think they cared? Like, God. But, we sat on opposite ends of the table, and this administrator basically did not let us eat. And we always got torn apart, me and Bluebird, because we were freaking menaces causing all these problems in class. But we had this lunch family, and we had all these friends, so this was, like, my waterbender friend. All of us were different benders. That was, like, our thing. Avatar was our thing, you know? So that was our waterbender friend, and then we had an earthbender friend who was a model, and then we had Sparrow, who was the girl that I had bullied in previous years, with Woody. And Sparrow was the non-bender. Sparrow was a Sokka fan, by the way. And I thought that was really fun, but Sparrow never liked me. And people tend to have a problem with this too. I had so many comments of people being like, did you ever become friends with Sparrow? Did Sparrow ever forgive you? No! We were 12 years old! With a vengeance! No! that 12-year-old child did not deserve to forgive me! I called her a whale! No! I hope to God she didn't forgive me. She has every right to be angry and spiteful and never talk to me ever again. Like, valid, girl, valid! Like... If I could find her on social media or something, I would apologize to her as an adult and be like, wow, I realized what I said as a kid was really harmful, you know? Like, I would definitely do that if it was possible, but it's literally not. I don't remember this person's name. We had little code names. I don't remember what her actual name is. I can't find this person anywhere. So it's just one of those things where, like, people were expecting me to, like, go and find her and apologize, but I was like, guys, this is super unrealistic. This is, like, so many years in my past. I don't even remember this person's name. I can't possibly find them, and they don't have to forgive me, and I'm not sitting here being like, this person sucks. No, I'm like, she's entirely valid. Like, I was a bully. No, she doesn't have to befriend her bully. Absolutely not. It's not the point of this. The whole point of this is that Blackbird is living with the consequences of her actions, and that's really important for me as a child, to have a continuous timeline of actions that followed. You know, that was like, hey, bullying is bad, look at the effects. It made sure I was never a bully again. If she had just immediately forgiven me, what lesson was I learning? You know? So, before people get, like, all up in arms about Sparrow, No, she did not forgive me. No, we were never friends. And yeah, that's a good thing in my eyes. And there's no way I can fix this, and I don't have a desire to. I actually think this is a great learning pillar for me as a child to never do anything like that again. So maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but for me, I'm like, you know what? Like, it is what it is. It's in the past, and I have taken my accountability, and I'm like, yeah, I never did that again. Even as a young child, I knew that was wrong. And I'm not gonna sit here and beat myself up for it. Like I said in other episodes about, like, things that I regret. Like, I have learned and I have improved, and what more can I possibly do? Dwelling on it is just gonna make me sad, and there isn't genuinely nothing else I can do. It's like decades ago, guys, that this shit happened. Like, so, just a sidebar about Sparrow. But we had a little lunch family, and it was so fun every day having lunch with those guys. But that day when we were put in jail, our friends at the other table were throwing pretzels to us to feed us because we were freaking starving. And that's the only thing we ate the entire school day was the like, they each got a bag of pretzels with their lunch, and they fed us 3 bags of pretzels, and that's all we got. And so it's just us being like, we're in pretzel jail, help, help! And then I do the old internet meme of like, I cry every Tim. And I was like, eat a pretzel every Tim. I was committed, like, wrongly accused of a crime in Persona Project. And that's when Blackbird says that's a lot of pretzels, because there's so many times in my freaking childhood where these adults were like, you! Be punished right now! And I'm just like, what did I do wrong? Oh, God. God. So, that was that episode. Very silly. Little pretzel jail. That was something we would talk about a lot as kids, is be like, you remember when we got put in pretzel jail? Like, it's just like, such an outrageous thing. The next episode is the Acorn Massacre, which I know is a pretty popular one. People tend to like this one a lot. I'm very glad, because it's a very, very silly thing. So we would scooter our way over to the pond by my house, and we would pick up buckets full of acorns. Because we would take the acorns back to my house, smash them with mallets, and had this whole, like, hierarchy system of, like, kings and queens of acorn kingdoms, and, like, feeding. Like, it was cannibalism again, guys. It was cannibalism again. I don't know what my thing was as a child that was just so violent. But, like, yeah, I was a violent kid. I don't know. This is where my friend Bluebird taught me all about the Acorn Massacre. And that's essentially what it was. We would just feed acorns to acorns, and it was, like, the most weird kid activities. Like, it was just us being weird kids with no filter, and just smashing acorns and drawing faces on them and giving them little lives, and, like, it was it was insane, you know? Like, this whole episode was just the epitome of, like, little girls at sleepovers, and, like, I freaking love that so much. Like, it was such a chaotic and fun episode, and, like, drawing all, like, the fall colors and everything, so it was just so much fun for me. It's just, like, really shows the seasons of my life passing, and it was nice. How did I find the acorns? Well, let me tell you something about living in Florida. There's, like, millions of trees. There's, like, pine trees, oak trees, cypress trees. There's trees freaking everywhere. There's, like, such a plethora of acorns. So don't worry about that. There's plenty of trees. God, yeah, we had so much fun with that crap, though. It was just such a silly activity we would do. We made it a tradition. We do it every year. Like, even, like, beyond... I think Parker's era, we even did it. Beyond Blackbird's era, we did it in Parker's era, too, I remember. Yeah, it was like, we still did it in high school. We'd be like, it's time. We'd get off the bus together, we'd be like, it's time. Time to get the acorns. Oh, it's so much fun. My favorite season is fall. Fried pie. Fall is absolutely the best. The Acorn thing has movie potential, right, Leaf? I'm telling you, like, we were geniuses before our time. All the other kids in the neighborhood thought we were freaks, but you know what? We were actually geniuses. We were actually the creative intellects here, alright? Anyways, Acorn Massacre was, like, literally my favorite episode of this year. It was so fun to animate, and I'm so glad everybody enjoyed that one as much as I did, because it was just so downright silly. And I love drawing all the little faces on those little guys. The governess. The governess. Next episode is Avatar. This is when I got introduced to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I remember being on the bus and, like, being harassed into going and watch Avatar when you go home. And I was like, okay, so I went home and I turned on Nicktoons and I watched a random episode of Avatar. It was the first episode of Avatar I've ever saw was the one, okay, spoilers for Avatar, I'm sorry, it's like season 3. It's the one where Sokka and Zuko go to, like, the prison to, like, break out the prisoners. That was the first episode I ever saw for some reason. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. I thought this was so cool because I was like, this is like grown-up cartoons. Like, I'm like a grown-up. Like, I just thought it was so cool. And I remember, like, right after I had watched, like, some of the episodes on Nicktoons, I had, like, begged Jim to, like, get the CDs so I could watch them in order, because I was like, I need to know what happens! And Jim got me these really awesome box sets of Avatar that I still have to this day. And how I learned to draw was that I would take pieces of paper and put them up against the TV, and I would trace over the TV screen. And I would trace pictures of Zuko to hang up in my room. And every time I tried to draw humans before, I struggled, so if I was at school and I wanted to draw Zuko, I'd draw them as cats, right? I draw everyone as cats. And this is a real this is a real picture that I drew. Laugh all you want. I was a Zuko fangirl. I was a Zuko fangirl, and I had a self-insert OC that I shipped with Zuko. So goddamn embarrassing. I am being so vulnerable. Have mercy! Have mercy on my soul, please! Oh god, the cringe is off the charts! Dude. Not the hearts. Literally sent out. Yeah, so I was a Zuko fan to a very normal extent. I was so normal about Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. The human eyes on the cats, I know, I don't want to talk about it. I did this with markers. So, oh, all of this is off, hold on. Something got messed up in my animation program. Here we go. And yeah, I was like a huge hater of May, who was like Zuko's like actual canonic girlfriend. I like hated her because that was the 12-year-old thing to do, right? The 12-year-old thing to do was to be like, there's this like character that I really love, but they're in. Leave! You've been a member for 4 months, let's go! That's so great. I feel like you've been here longer. You feel like you've been here forever. Wow. The Zuko cat face is really silly. I don't know why his eyes are so far apart. Like, help him, bro. But no, like, it was just, like, the thing to be like, this is my favorite character. My self-insert OC is gonna be with my favorite character, and anybody else who interferes is awful and needs to burn, like... Wait until Parker's era, okay? Parker, I literally I learned archery. Like, shooting, like, bow and arrow. I literally put up pictures of May to shoot. Like, I still hate her. Like, the hatred is not lost on me. What's a hater? Always a hater. I do not enjoy her. Boo May. Sorry if you're a May enjoyer from Avatar. I mean this very sillily. But YouTube was like in the humble beginnings, alright? YouTube was very much like akin to like MySpace and oh god, my cat is here, hold on. Bibby has come to say hello. You say hello, Bibi! This is my cat, Indiana Jones, or Bibi. He's very loud purring today. Say hello, Biob. Yes. He wants to steal my chair, so I'm gonna let him do that. Here you go. Oh, get some water. Water. Big water today. Yep, he's come to rest. He likes to sit right behind me. So he's sitting like in my chair behind me. I'm sitting on the very edge of my chair. He's so orange. No, you guys have no idea how orange this cat is. It's like terminal. He's so orange. But yeah, YouTube kind of had this format where it was like more of like your own like personal webpage, and you could decorate it and stuff. And like I used to code that. Like mine was this eye bleeding red, and like I made this QR code, like not QR code, like barcode, like from like the freaking grocery store. I made like a barcode that was like, I'm official. And I had like my little Fire Nation symbol, and like I like made this little thing so detailed because if you like zoom in, it says like my favorite Avatar AMV is this AMV called like Never Forget, and it was like that song that was really popular back in the day. It was like 10% luck, 20% skill, and it was like Avatar, and it was like so well edited, and I was like, this is my favorite video. Oh my god. So I loved all the Avatar AMVs. I was like really big into the fandom and stuff, so I had like all of my favorite videos on my channel. And then there was like these little like, you could like put like comments on your channel, like your own like the channel itself. So I would like update it like every 5 minutes by being like, I liked Avatar: The Last Airbender funny moments, like, you know, stupid funny moments compilations. And I was like, Zuko's not emo, guys, leave him alone. And like, I have homework. Oh, but Avatar, like, you know, like typical Blackbird updates. And my friends, I was friends with this other Zuko, who wasn't the official Zuko, but we'll take it. The Cabbage Guy, I was friends with the Cabbage Guy. So great. Iroh, and then like one of the official Aangs. I think there was more than one. It was kind of weird. There's so many weird officialness going on YouTube at that time. I don't know what that was about. But we would roleplay. We would just roleplay as our OCs or like our favorite characters. And it was just so fun. It was just like so peak, like wholesome internet time, right? Like a live internet theory as freak. And I was like super like, I went from being a deranged Warriors fan to a deranged Avatar fan. I don't know what that pipeline is. I don't know if I'm the only one that's in this pipeline. But I sure went from being like a Warrior Cats fanatic to an anime fanatic really quickly. Pretty quick transition. And I remember freaking out when Iroh, like the official Iroh messaged me, was like, oh, you're friends with my son, because like this person, obviously not my son, my grandson, and was like, oh, like your OC is like obsessed with Zuko, essentially. It was like, oh, let me adopt you, like, and I was like, I'm getting adopted by the official Iroh. It's the best day of my life. Like, it's the best. It was simply the best. You just had to be there, man. You just had to be there early YouTube. That stuff was awesome. Alright, next up we have one of the first episodes Wild Child has appeared in a long time, which is Club Cool, where I talk about all the different Club Cools I made as a child, and Blackbird actually lets Wild Child explain. They're getting along to a point that they're sharing, and it started off okay for once. But the first Club Cool I made was in like Wild Child's era. There's lots of little details in here that I really like. Like we have our DSs, we have our Tamagotchis, and then there's like the blanket that was really symbolic from like the divorce/homeless episode that's there. And we always have these Club Cool, was like what we would call our clubs. We'd just make little like forts and stuff. And then in Boxtown, in Blackbird's era, we had a Club Cool in like a closet, we literally would spend summers up there. Oh my god. Literally, like, entire summers up there. And even when Boxtown was recycled, we still had our Club Cool. And this is the point where I'm like, wait, we had way more than, like, 3 Club Cools. We had so many Club Cools. And then the kids are like, yeah, we had one in, like, the shed. We had one on, like, the boat that didn't sell. But that one we just called Appa and pretended it was Flag Bison. And then we also had these, like, really cool, I don't know if anybody else had this, but that was, like, my favorite thing ever. There's, like, these foam fort building kits where it's, like, these foam tubes in, like, magnetic little, like, connectors, and you could make, like, forts out of them. It was amazing. Like, that crap was awesome. I don't even know if anybody else had them, but we had these fort building kits at my mom's house, and we'd pretend to make Animal Crossing houses and be villagers. Thank you!
I accidentally let the skinwalker from my basement escape. Wait, envy him, he came back. Wait, why does it have baby boy underscore?
What? You're M Creeper, thank you for the donation. I don't know. I'm worried about you, man. I'm worried about something escaped from your basement. Oh, but it came back? Okay. Well, good luck. I guess. It's really random. But thank you for the donation, I appreciate that. But yeah, we had these fort building kits that we'd also call Club Cool and pretend to be Animal Crossing villagers and stuff. And I was like, guys, dude, why did we not have any more creative names for Club Cool? And that's when I just thought it'd be really fun to, like, show the fact that, like, my inner children can't tell a story at the same time. Because some people are like, why didn't you just have them talk at the same time? And I'm like, you think they're gonna get along? You're really funny for that. Because now they think they've stolen things from each other, and they're literally the same person, and they're literally arguing, and this is why they can't tell a story together. Because my preteen self is just really, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but they're just, Blackbird's very, like, not pretentious, but very much like, I'm in charge, and I know what I'm doing, and I'm telling my story, and it's my turn, and blah blah blah, like, just very, like, you know, sassy in that way. And then Wild Child's just autism brained, doesn't understand the social cues, it's just gonna start talking, and so, like, they don't get along for that reason, because Wild Child just wants to explain how she relates, and Blackbird's like, ah, it's my turn, so, like, they just don't get along. And I'm like, it's kind of fun to show, like, the more of, like, the sillier, like, persona aspect of, like, this is why they don't tell a story at the same time. Because even though they both are a part of the same story, they just can't get along enough, and, like, my little past selves are different in, like, that way. So, whoa, my animations getting thrown off here. But yeah, the next episode is Taboo, which is just talking about Super Smash Brothers. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I have an entire journal I have from Blackbird's era that I wrote on my computer that I still have to this day. I'm gonna do a video on it. I'd love to just, like, read the whole thing. But I basically had, this is a real journal entry that I turned into an episode where I was talking about Subspace Emissary, which is the adventure mode of Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii. It was, like, one of the most influential games. I used to main Pit and Link, by the way. Everybody wanted to know what my mains were. Pit and Link, 100%. Are my mains. And so, it's basically like this game where all of the Nintendo characters come together and, like, fight all the bosses, right? And so, on my dinosaur computer, I would go to my dinosaur computer and, like, update my journal, which everything was spelt exactly how I wrote it, by the way. Bibby, what are you doing? Child, what are you doing? Jesus, he just, like, kicked me. Like, he tried to, like, physically kick me off my own chair. Anyways. But this episode is taken exactly from how I wrote it. So Vibrant writes, Dear Journal, we beat Taboo, with exactly that many dots, by the way. Like, I took the exact punctuation and spelling from my journal. It was a really fun episode because I got to like do this little typing animation. And it's just so cute to look at like all of my little writing errors where I put the apostrophe don't and stuff. Like, it was just such a fun episode because I was so overly proud of the fact that we beat Taboo. I was like acting like this was like my major life achievement. Like, it just goes to show how dramatic I was as a kid, and it's just really funny. There's Blackbird dressed up as Pit, which is who I mained. And I remember it showed, like, the end, and I, like, cried, because I was like, why does it have to end? I feel so bad. Oh, this is so tragic. This was, like, my purpose. We did it. We beat this final boss. And then, like, the message just goes, anyways, I have to go play it some more, bye. And it's just so, like, childlike in that way of just, like, I'm so sad. But anyways, it's just so cute, and like, it's just so nice to have like a window to look into what I was actually like, and like, it's just so nice. Like, I just thought this was a really funny episode because like Blackbird's just defending it, but isn't dealing with the sadness aspect that well, because like sometimes when things were really, really happy, I'd get really, really sad, and that's part of that like CPTSD of just like learning that like even the happy things are like sad, like it's bittersweet. So it was just me reminding her like, hey, if you never beat Taboo, we wouldn't beat other games. And then she drops the most rar XD freaking line of the universe, like, yeah, I guess I'm super epic awesome sauce for that. Which is just great. I had to include super epic awesome sauce at least once in Persona Project. I was a raw XD kid, you know? Like, I could not pay tribute. Next episode is Roller Coaster Tycoon. This was an episode where I tried to get my poor brother to join in on my hyperfixations. That didn't go very well. It's really funny because my brother, oh my god. My brother, like, always my whole childhood was just him laying on the floor going, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. And I was always so annoyed at him. I was like, you're so annoying. Like, and I thought it was extra funny that I have him laying in this pile of stuff. Like, there's a swimming pool floaty, there's like drawing materials, there's a DS, a Tamagotchi, a Wii, action figures, a pillow fort. And he's like, I'm bored. I'm like, how can you be bored? Like, how, like, I was getting so frustrated with him. So I was like, let me teach you my favorite game, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. And I was really trying to sell him on the game. And not even blowing people up was interesting him, and it was making me so mad. And so I finally got so angry that I made him sign a contract. I made my brother sign a contract to engage in my hyperfixation. It was the options were leave me alone or I teach you my hyperfixations. Like, he did not have that much of a choice. And like, he signed it. And so I was like, ah, yes, my master plan. And so I went over to the computer and I started like playing and just trying to explain everything way too quickly. And my poor brother just could not understand what I was trying to tell him. Because he was like 8! And then like, I got so pissy with him. I was like, oh, he doesn't even like it either. Like, what the heck? And it's like, girl, you forced him to sign a contract. I don't have the contract anymore, no. I wish I did. There's a lot of things I don't have. I wish I had, but I don't have, unfortunately. Was it really that fun? Yeah, to me, yeah! I still play Roller Coaster. I did some live streams where I played Roller Coaster Tycoon. I love that game, okay? I love that game. Yeah, I basically wanted to kind of touch base with my inner child, because I think there's like a little bit of a wild child wound going on with this, in the need to be accepted and the need to be understood. I feel like that's a really big theme for a lot of autistic people that they struggle with, is that we're not usually accepted or understood. And so I had this really strong desire to get that need fulfilled, and this was basically my adult self telling my younger self, like, hey, just like what you want to like. You don't have to have other people approve of it. You don't have to have other people, like, engage in your fixations. They don't have to know everything. Like, you can just enjoy stuff on your own. And that's okay. Because nobody told me that as a kid. Like, I always thought that me and my siblings and me and my best friends had to have all the same interests, or else, like, it wasn't gonna work. And I wasn't gonna be accepted, I wasn't gonna be loved, I wasn't gonna be, like, understood. So that's what this episode is kind of about, is just kind of being like, hey, enjoy your fixations. No, you don't have to make anybody else understand you. Like, just play your game, or play your roller coaster tycoon, and, like, it was very soul healing to, like, look inwards and tell myself that. Because, like, even as I am sitting here at 27, I'm like, oh my god, like, I still have problems wanting to, like, be my true authentic self, even when I'm completely alone. I'm looking around being like, is anybody watching me? Okay, I'm gonna make candy bracelets for the Amazing Digital Circus, and I'm not gonna tell anybody, or at least I'm not gonna tell everybody, I'm just gonna show the people that that know that I like it. And, like, I'm inching my way out of that mindset and being like, okay, I like stuff, and it's, like, cool to like things, and I won't get, like, bullied or ostracized for being weird, quote-unquote. So, it's just a little healing moment that I thought was really nice. Very glad I did an episode on it. Here comes another weird kid moment. Are you ready for another certified weird kid moment? I'm gonna get some shark juice. Okay. More certified weird kid moments. Why did I read that like a fucking TikTok? More certified weird kid moments. Check out my cringe past. Oh my god, this is the most cringe thing ever. Why do I read it like, why did I say like, help, help, I turned into a robot, help. Anyways. I love doing the TikTok voice. It's like so stupid. I'm sorry, I do apologize. TikTok Hawley jump scare warning. Oh god. Okay, so this one is called the Orby Factory, another certified weird kid moment. Which sidebar, I need to cover this again. I covered this in a recent live stream, but I need to I need to talk about this again. Just because I mention a year, if I said, the year is 2010, that is not an open invitation for you to tell me that's the year you were born. That's not an open invitation to tell me that's the year your brother was born. It's not an open invitation to give out your personal information online. Please be careful. Don't do that. Just because I mentioned something like that, that doesn't mean it's free reign for you to be unsafe, okay? So, just so you're aware, a lot of those comments had to be deleted because so many people were being unsafe. And I hate having to turn off comments, I really do, but I will turn them off if it means protecting people. And sharing your age, your location, your name, or other identifying information online is not safe. And you need to practice that and be more aware of that. And a lot of people on my channel like to say that. They say, as a teenager currently in high school, and then they'll give me their whole life story, and I'm like, you are outing yourself as a minor online. That is not safe. That is not safe to do. I'm sorry. Like, I wish the internet was safer, but it's not, and you need to be cautious. Like, I hate that we live in this world this way, but you know, I'm doing my best as one person, but like my goal is to at least, you know, put it into people's minds to get into the practice of, oh wait, maybe I shouldn't be saying that online. That might not be very safe. You don't know who is watching, you know? So just be cautious. My channel is a really, really safe space, and I have a lot of moderators, and I care a lot about this, but it's the habit that follows outside of my channel that I worry about. Because if you're doing this on my channel, then I know I will delete it and I will protect you. I don't know if others will do the same for you. So please be aware and be good. Okay? I know internet safety has kind of been on the decline, and not a lot of people have been educated, but it's really important. Your privacy is very important. There's some things you just don't need to share, okay? There's ways that you can say what you want to say without having to give away your personal information, alright? So yes, this was the Orby Factory. We had it in the playroom. We had this Zuzu Pets Utopia. We had, like, all the little tunnels and things. We had the stadium in the background. I don't know if you remember, but, like, there used to be, like, Zuzu Pets for boys, right? Like, there was, like, boys Zuzu Pets. And they were, like, you would, like, send them to, like, fight each other. So, like, the little Zuzu Pets would, like, run at each other and, like, push each other over in, like, this arena. So we had, like, Zuzu Wars in the arena. That's, like, the red building in the background. And then, like, all the, like, little buildings and stuff. We used to have, like, a little school and everything. Like, it was so thorough. Like, this little kingdom of ours was wonderful. And so we had this Zuzu Pet City, with the school, with the little baby Zuzus. I love them so much. Oh, you know what? I still do have Zuzu Pets. Hold on. I can show you some of my favorites I have. They're on a shelf back here. Hold on. Let's get them. Oh my god, my Zuzus. I have lots of my childhood memorabilia on my shelf back there. Like, all of that is my childhood back there. Hold on, I got all my Zuzus here. All the ones I kept from my childhood anyways. I fear that I might not get my chair back though, Bibby. Sorry, Bibby. Okay. So this was my favorite Zuzu. This is Moo Moo. This is Moo Moo. He's a little ice cream cone. Moo Moo, my beloved. Pipsqueak was my girly. Pipsqueak! I love her. She's yellow. She's a little shooting star. She's everything to me. And then these two were my gay dads in my childhood. Like, they were gay before I even knew what the word gay meant. This is Scoodles and Chunk. Chunk ran the ice cream store, and Scoodles was his favorite customer, and they had a child. They had Pumpkin as their little child. This is a little child. They have like a little marble that they would like roll around on. They're like velvety. This is like my favorite texture. So this is like one little family. Oh no, they also had Snickerdoodle. Snickerdoodle was their baby too. They had two babies. And I had this very special baby named Baxter. Baxter is this little guy, and he was a very special little baby. He was like a street kid. Like, he didn't have parents, like, you know, like that was his little story. So those are my little Zuzu pets that I still have to this day. My brother has most of them. My brother kept most of them. I just kept a couple at my house. We divvied up our childhood stuff a few years ago so we could cherish them. But those are my Zuzus. Yes. Oh, I love them. They're so cute. Oh my god, I cannot. I just want to like hold this little baby. Like, they're so cute! Are you joking? Oh, Snickerdoodle. Oh, cutie. Little cutie. Okay, anyways. They're just my favorite texture, and I'm gonna want to hold them the whole time now, but they make that annoying noise, so I'm gonna not do that. So yes, Zuzu Pets school. We had a Zuzu Pets pizza parlor and like ice cream shop. And we had the Orby factory, which was this horrifying building where we would take Orbeez, which, God, you know, I hope you all know what Orbeez are. They're like polymer balls that were like really squishy. They were really popular in like the 2010s. And yeah, we had like the Orbeez guns where you'd like shoot them at each other. We had like the foot massager. And then we made the Orby factory, which was essentially the Zuzu Pets pizza shop that we turned into a horrible factory. I don't have Mr. Squiggles, my brother does. But Mr. Squiggles was our mayor of the Zuzu town. And Mr. Squiggles was farming the Orbeez. Even though Orbeez acted like pets, guys. They were like treated like little pets, but they never got to live in harmony with Pipsqueak, my girl. Because they were turned into freaking resources. Like, we literally would turn them into like food and like gas and electricity, and it was just like horrifying. Like, as a child, why was cannibalism on my brain so much? Like, what in the hell, bro? Yes, Silver, this is Viva Pinata, you got it. But yeah, the Orbeez factory was a bit of a nightmare, and we would, very similar to the Acorn Massacre, put them in shaving cream as ice cream, and this was actually my brother's two favorite characters, which is Jilly and Nugget. Those two were his favorite. And we would just pretend that the Orbeez spirits were there. It was so horrible. Like, what was wrong with us? Like, it's so silly. This is so silly. Like, oh my god. Oh my god. So yeah, that was the Orby factory. Very silly. Then we have a little more, like, one little serious episode here. Just as a fair warning, this one's got an asthma attack and a little bit of neglect in it. This is the first time I brought somebody to my dad's house, since the knife incident. I hadn't really had anybody over since, out of a fear that people would be in imminent danger. So this is the first friend I brought over to my dad's in a really long time. And it was the first time that I felt not entirely ashamed of my home. Because it was a hoarding situation, and I knew it was gross, and it was dirty, and it was full of smoke and beer, and, you know, not fun. So I was really embarrassed, and I'd never want to have people over. I'd want to go to their house. Bluebird's home situation wasn't exactly bad, but she made it out to be, and she never wanted to be there. It was more of like the teenage rebellious thing of I just don't want to be around my family. And so she came over and was just like really impressed by like the little water slide we had going into the pool and the trampoline, like all of our fun stuff that my dad had made our house, ended up being like some of our favorite things. And like, I remember being so proud that like I could have a friend over and it would not be an immediate disaster. And I remember this is like an exact direct conversation that I had with her. We were like sitting on this dock. The only detail I left out is that we were eating chips, we were eating Doritos, we were sharing like snacks. I just wouldn't make very much sense here because like I was talking and you don't want to hear me like the food in my mouth. So I remember we were sitting there like holding hands, and I was like, this place is like the only place I can be free, because my mom's house is a museum and school sucks, and this is the only place I can be like a kid, is like in the pool and the trampoline and all of that. And this is like a really hard part of my trauma. I think I've mentioned this before. I'm not a huge Disney fan, and there's a really good reason for that. Disney was a big part of my past, but especially around Bluebird. Bluebird was a huge Disney fan and really brought that into my world, and now I only associate it with this person, so it's not very good for me. But one thing that we always thought ourselves to be, which is the most ironic thing in the universe, is that we would always call each other the Fox and the Hound. And if you know how the Fox and the Hound ends, you know exactly how our friendship will end. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So wild. Like, life is crazy. Self-fulfilling prophecies are, like, crazy. But the whole thing was that she was the Hound and I was the Fox. And so we would often quote the Fox and the Hound all the time together. As part of this, like, weird trauma bond ritual, where we would just be like, you're my very best friend, and you're mine too. We'll always be friends, won't we? Forever. Yes, forever. The word forever is a really important word in Persona Project. I don't know if you've noticed, but every time it comes up, it has really significant meaning, because forever can be viewed in the light of good or bad, and in this case, not good. So it's just this whole thing where we would often say like, yeah, we're gonna be friends forever, and that obviously was not very realistic. It just hard cuts to my friend that night had an asthma attack, sleeping over in a house full of smoke. And when I told my dad this, he was very annoyingly dismissive, and he was like, get your inhaler. And I was like, Dad, my inhaler's expired because you don't provide for me. Which is not my fault, by the way. So all of this was literally my dad's fault. He smoked in the house. He didn't have the inhaler that wasn't, expired. Everything was his fault. And he was like, it's 7 a.m. And he was like shooing me out over this. And I was like, Dad, like, she's having an asthma attack. Like, she needs to go home and get her inhaler or go to the hospital. Like it's not okay. And then my dad was like, quote, she's not allowed back here unless she can handle the way we live. And there was a part of the script that I cut. And there was a whole part where I tried to take the responsibility and push it back on him. And I was like, no, Dad, the way you live. I didn't smoke in the house. I didn't expire my inhaler. You made this place unlivable. You invited candy here. You hoard. Like, you're an alcoholic. You are the problem. And, like, I didn't put that in the script because I didn't want it to, like, interfere with Blackbird's speech that was coming afterwards. It just felt like it took away from her. So I took that part out. But I know my healing was done in the background because I know who was responsible for this situation. And it was not me. This was not my blame to carry. This is his. And he was never responsible. But I remember being terrified by being like, she's never coming over again. Like, I'm alone again. Like, I'm being isolated again because of my neglect. Like, I can't really explain how much, like, being neglected and abused and traumatized in your childhood really isolates you. It is a very isolating experience. You can't connect to normal kids because normal kids come over and they see shit like this and then they get traumatized just by being in your house. And this is something that was just so normal to me. Normal to have smoke in the house, normal to have all my medications expired, normal to have the hallways filled with junk and beer bottles everywhere and adults screaming all night at each other. Like, it's hard to, like, have other people in your life who aren't either already accustomed to that or willing to put up with it. And most of the time when kids would go home and tell their parents what happened at my house, guess what? They're not coming back! So, it's hard to, like, realize that, like, none of this was my fault, but I still am just super duper affected and super alone. And so it cuts back to this scene of, like, where we were previously on this little dock. We're here again, but now it's just Blackbird alone. And it's just this whole thing of her being like, here's the reality. Reality was a lot easier to see when Bluebird was not around. But the reality was that this place is not my freedom. This place was a cage. It made me sick. It was neglectful. It was harmful. It was not fun. I didn't like being here, actually. But Bluebird was allowed to continue to come over, and she still stuck by me. And she was able to kind of handle everything else going on in my life at the time in this very broken house. And that is where the trauma bond began, guys. Like, the fact that I expected her to never come back and then she stayed was just like, that never happened to me before. Most people give up. And this person did not give up on me, and so it was like an immediate, well, now we're best friends forever and you were never leaving me, and it was just a very unhealthy attachment. Is Candy in other eras? No. Absolutely not. Don't worry about her. Say it about her. Yeah, so it's one of these things where I look back on it, and in the moment, this person was really helpful. This person helped make the times at my dad's house better. She would often come over every weekend we were at our dad's house and distract us and have fun and oftentimes my parents would be on better behavior if there was another eyewitness, you know what I mean? So having another outsider in the toxic family system made people act differently. And so in a way, I viewed her like my savior. Like, she was somebody who, like, entered the environment and made the environment more stable. And that is where trauma bonding begins. It's like the perfect breeding grounds for her to become my abuser. It's just really sad that that's what she did. Because we could have been best friends and it could have been happy. But she chose to use me instead. Did I ever go to her house? Her parents really, really liked me. Like, to a point that I would get the awkward, oh, why can't you just be more like Hawley? Oh, your friend Hawley is so good. Like, you're such a bad kid. Why don't you be more like Hawley? Like, they would use me as a way to, like, verbally abuse her. So I didn't want to go there because they would just often give me all this praise and make her feel bad and, like, shame her. So I didn't like going there because the parents were weirdly obsessive over me and, like, I felt really uncomfortable there. And also, like, she had a bunch of siblings and stuff who were, like, really annoying and, like, you know, like, older kids, we just want to, like, get away from, like, everybody. But, like, my brother was always a part of things with me and Bluebird. Like, we were, like, a little trio, but, like, Bluebird hated her siblings. Like, red flag alert, hated her siblings, so... So yeah, it was one of those things where I didn't really go over there that much, and also I didn't really have the transport to do so. I did live out in the middle of nowhere, so going to people's houses was like a big ask. It was like an hour drive kind of thing, a lot of the times. An hour there and back, which is enough for an adult, you know, like 30 minutes there is like the cap for my family. They were like, if it's not like 5 minutes down the road, you're not going. Which is why Bluebird would also come over. She would always come over to my mom's house because we lived 5 minutes apart. We would get off at the same bus stop all the time and we'd just go over to my mom's house. But never did she really come to my dad's house, so it was like a good thing that she kept coming when she did. But it's such a nuanced experience, you know, like that's why I like including these episodes. And I included the text is really interesting because it says like, gosh, why does this keep getting all messed up? What's happening? The only time I could fly is an orange, which is usually like, we're coming up on a bad thing, was with Bluebird is in red, which is not a good thing, but the way Blackbird's talking about it is a good thing. But the way that I see it now is not a good thing, so I like that a lot. I like putting those details in with the words a lot, so you get like a little bit more of that detail. After this, I have a episode we did on live stream together, which was Avenues. We actually animated this from start to finish on a stream once. It was awesome. It was like literally such an accomplishment to like show everybody like the whole process. You could definitely check out that stream. That was a really cool stream. We made this one together. It's basically some of my first YouTube videos I ever made. Very happy little cheerful little episode. Get some more water. MJ, I'm gonna answer this as nicely and calmly as I can. Neglect is neglect. Abuse is abuse. There's no hierarchy that deems one worse than the other. You are a victim, point blank. That is so important for you to understand. Like, if you resonate with this, and you are a victim, you're a victim. Don't diminish your own story because, quote, someone has it worse. That's not going to be helpful for you. It's all harmful. All of it's harmful. It will all be harmful. Like, it's hurt at the end of the day. Doesn't matter how, it's hurt. I'm quite tired of the internet kind of labeling like there's this hierarchy of this level of abuse is worse than this one and this. It's still it's all abuse. You're still a victim at the end of the day, and that's you are hurt. Like it's oh my gosh, like it matters so much to me that people understand that like that's really important to understand. You know, that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you have gone through, you still have gone through. And that's important. Cause yeah, my whole life I was told that, like, what happened to me was, like, normal and fine, and I should be grateful. And, like, don't stand for that. Don't stand for that. Anyways, Avenues. So Avenues was, like, my first little show. It was supposed to be, like, avenues, like the street, like an avenue. But it's also, like, Avatar News. So it was, like, a play on words. And we recorded these silly little news videos. So we had one where it's like the Loch Ness Monster, and like we had all these stupid little like movie maker effects, like the black and white effects, and like the rainbow effect on this random bird. And like we had all these little characters we could roleplay out, like this lady like lost her cat in a hurricane, like and like it was just like a silly, like the most epitome of like 10-year-olds on YouTube making random videos. And, like, I'll look at the- I wrote this out on stream, but I made, like, the credits, like, really detailed and funny. How I used to write them was, like, on that red default Movie Maker screen. And it was, like, has all these spelling errors and everything. Oh, thank you, Autistic Nugget! Here with the constant reminder of Bali. God damn it. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. That's so funny. Oh god. So yeah, we have, like, made by Blackbird, oh lols, and Bluebird and Blue Jay, XD, cameras, everyone, duh, but mostly me, characters, Blaze, Blackbird, Kita, Bluebird, Chrome, Blue Jay, Old Cat Lady, XD, and, like, none of the naming making any sense. Random Bird gets credited, and the Loch Ness Moonstar. Why are you still reading this? Go watch something else. You know, like, it's just, like, the epitome of, like, what I used to do as a kid, and, like, at the end of Avenues, we'd throw all of our scripts up in the air. It was just so much fun. We, like, wrote it out. We, like, put so much heart into this stupid little project. We'd make it on the weekends together at my dad's house, and it was just so fun. The old Windows Movie Maker was just so lit. And, like, Blackbird calls me old, and that's basically the entire episode. Because I'm like, oh, Movie Maker's so good, and they don't make things like they used to. And she's like, psh, you're old. Yeah. And I love doing that. It's just so funny, because, like, my younger self would just be like, oh god, you're so old. And I'm like, I'm literally not even old. Who's Kita? Kita was the name of my best friend's OC. Like, I had, like, Blaze, the firebender. She was Kita the airbender, and my brother was Chrome the earthbender. It was just a reference, like a subtle reference to, like, their OCs, like their avatar OCs. But it's also, like, one of those things where I put it in there without explanation, because that's what kids do. Kids will just walk up to you and be like, my friend Sarah ate my cookie. It's like, who's Sarah? I don't know who this is. What, you expect me to know who that is? Like kids just do that? So that's why I made it like that. I made it like that, so that way it's, like, the sense of, like, Blackbird's like, oh, you know that! Like, you're in my world. Like, you know, kids are very egocentric. So, she just assumes everybody knows what that is. Which is just very childlike. Alright, so the next episode is Chroma. We're coming up on almost the end here. Did I get water? I don't remember. I'm gonna get more water, because I can't remember. Hidden Treaty, that's exactly why I talk to my inner children all the time. It's so much fun. Ugh, alright. So Chroma is yet another story of, oh, sound's still on, yoinks. There we go. It's another silly story about a teacher who was a jerk and how we got back at her. So I had this teacher, I called her Miss Budgie in this. She was a language arts teacher who was evil. She was evil, bro. She was evil. She was evil. She just, like, hated me and my best friend because we would, like, talk a lot and she tried to separate us. But in separating us, she didn't account for the fact that we were right up against the wall with the whiteboard, and there was the marker holder right next to us, and so we took the glue sticks and emptied them out and put notes in them and like would slide the markers across the wall, and like pass notes during class using that. And anytime she would walk over, I'd like pretend to be gluing something. Oh god, she never caught us. She never caught us. Oh, I'm so giddy about that. Like, take that, Miss Budgie. But we got assigned like a mythology project. Like all of 7th grade was like, we had like mythology. It was like a big theme for some reason, like language arts. And so we made this OC named Chroma, who was a black cat, angel, demon, rainbow goddess. The most Mary Sue goddamn thing that's ever existed. Freaking Chroma, okay? We made Chroma. Her mother was Aphrodite. And we came up with all this lore. And like Chroma was like our pride and joy, right? And like we went the extra mile on this project. Like it was supposed to be just like a PowerPoint, but we turned it into like a book. Like I literally like took like ribbons and like made it into like a book. It was actually really cute. We like made a whole story. We illustrated it, and we like God, leave please. So yeah. I lost my train of thought. That threw me off so bad. It was really funny. We went the extra mile, right? And we even like, there was something you totally left out of this that Blackbird like really wanted to put in this, and I was like, I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense. We ended up making like our own like words up, and like we were giggling, having so much fun. We were like laying on the floor of language arts, and we were like, what if we took 2 words and made up a new word? Like we thought we were so smart. I was like, let's take shrugged and like being sluggish and call it shlugged. Like you're gonna sluggishly do something, or like they shlugged, and like we were like cracking up because we thought shlugged was the funniest freaking word in the world. And we asked our teacher, we like ran up to Miss Budgie, we're like, can we put it in our project? Will you not take off points? Because like we were making up our own like dictionary. We'll like have like an index at the end that has like the dictionary in the back to explain all the made up words. Like, and she literally was just so done with our shit. She was like, sure, whatever, dude. And then she took off points anyways, because she was a bitch. Oh my god, dude. What the hell? So, like, she not only took off a bunch of points for, like, shit that we asked for permission for, she took off points for the formatting as well, because she was like, this was supposed to be a PowerPoint. And I'm like, excuse me, we did better than a PowerPoint. Like, oh, she had it out for us, dude. She just didn't like us to begin with. It was not our fault, like, at all. And so, when she found a reason to, like, to get us for plagiarism so she could completely fail us, she did. She just was like, oh, you misspelled Chroma as another kid's character, so you must be stealing. So I'm going to fail you. Because she just fucking hated me for no reason, dude. Like, this woman had beef with a child. Like, theme a Persona project, bro. Like, imagine having beef with a freaking child that you sign up to do the job to care for. Ah! Anyways. I know it's unfair. I know it's complete and utter bullshit. She just hated me. And, like, what was I gonna do? I'm 12. What am I supposed to do? Go home and be like, my teacher hates me. She gave me an F. Like, no one's gonna believe me. They're gonna be like, no, you got an F, you little shit. Work harder. Like, my family wasn't gonna listen to me. So, I was screwed. So, I had to get my own vengeance. Alright? The only way I was gonna get justice is if I got it myself, bro. That is the theme of Persona Project. So, I took this into my own hands. And so, we plotted our revenge in the school library. One morning, like, Bluebird was in drama class with me. We had this, like, drama teacher. I was gonna make an episode about this, but I didn't. We had this drama teacher who was, like, a brand new teacher. This woman had no idea what she was doing. She held up a little stop sign, like, please stop screaming and running around the classroom. Please stop. And nobody stopped. They're middle schoolers. Are you crazy? So for drama class that day, we were supposed to print out something, like, I think the whole, like, thing was that the activity we were doing in class that day required, like, everybody to bring some, like, random image, or, like, either, like, a magazine clipping or something. And Bloober didn't do it at home because, like, we were poor as shit, like, both of us. We didn't have, like, printers and shit at home. So we went to the school library in the morning to print out, like, her stuff for her project. And we printed it once. And then we were waiting by the library printer and it didn't print. We were like, what the heck? So we went back over to the computer and we were like, why isn't this? So we were like printing it a bunch and it wasn't printing out. We were like, what the heck? And then we realized that the print was being sent to Miss Budgie's room. And by that point we had already done like 5 images of this crying baby. And we were like, what if 100 more? And so, by that point, we were like, you know what? Frick it. If it's already going to Miss Budgie's room, we're just gonna double down. Like, it was an accident at first, but now it's fully intentional. We're gonna print hundreds of these stupid babies. And so we printed hundreds of images of this clip art image of this crying baby. An ugly freaking clip art image from, like, the old PowerPoint days, and, like, it was great. It was great. She was so pissed. She was so pissed. She took the stack of paper and she put it by, we used to have, like a desk in front of the door that had, like, tissues and, like, syllabuses and, like, extra pencils, pencil sharpener. You know, like, a little, like, table in front of the door when you walk in. She had set the stack on the door, the thing in front of the door, and she took one of the copies and she wrote in, like, all caps, like, "This is a waste of your school's resources," and, like, taped it to the wall. So, like, all year, it was just us being like, because she had no way to prove who did it, because it was in the school library. It could have been any kid. She was the irresponsible adult who must have printed something from the school library and forgot to change the printer back to the library printer, you know? It's her own fault. I have no sympathy for somebody who had my freaking worst interest at heart. Goddamn, she wanted me to fail, dude. Hell no. She never caught me. I'm getting my revenge. Frick this woman, bro. That freaking baby image stayed on the wall all year. That shit was hilarious. So deserved. So deserved. I hope it came out of her pockets. Yeah, anyways, so that was my act of revenge. Damn. What are you gonna do when you're 12 years old and full of spite? Shit is so funny. Alright. Now, we're getting into the end of year 12 here. Kitchen renovation! Oh, I have such fond memories of this. Kitchen renovation is a little sweet episode. There's a little bit of, indication of, like, depictions of illness at the end. Just so you know. A little bit of dread and foreshadowing. But yeah, basically this was my, my werewolf phase. This is where I ran around pretending to be a werewolf this Halloween. We would all pretend to be wolves, and we'd run around, and we thought the kitchen renovation was so fun. Because basically there was these big, giant, like, sheets of plastic that were from the ceiling to the floor, and it was, like, sealing off the kitchen because of all the dust and stuff and, like, debris. But we would, like, go in there, and it would be super, like, misty in there, and we'd have, like, a little, like Halloween little glowing lantern, and we'd go in there and be like, we're looking for food as werewolves. And it was so much fun. Like, we had so much fun playing in there, but, like, Jim hated when we would do that. He was just so concerned about us getting hurt. And we'd often just swarm him as wolves. And, like, he knew that he couldn't fight us. Like, we were just gonna keep playing in the kitchen, and he was just like, oh my god, help me. I feel so bad for this man. He was genuinely just trying to make sure we were safe. But it was really, really neat. Like, watching this time in my life unfold and, like, drawing it all. This Halloween was so special. We got this freaking amazing Halloween inflatable. It was like this big black cat with, like, swirly eyes. It was like this big black cat inflatable we had in our yard. And we carved pumpkins together. And it was just so much fun. Like, I love decorating for holidays, but decorating for Halloween is always my favorite. And I have such fond memories, and we would literally just howl in my bedroom like wolves for like hours. It was just so fun. With all the Halloween lights and stuff around. It was just such a, like, randomly, like, good memory for me. But it was such a good time in my life. Like, this is when things really looked up. Like, Jim proposed to my mom. Crazy. Don't know why. Everybody always asks me, like, I don't know what Jim sees in her. Like, dude, I don't either. I can't answer that. I don't know. That woman's my mortal enemy. I don't know. Maybe it could have just been for us. I don't know. Either way, I'm glad he's here, you know? And his business was doing really good, and it was just, like, the first time in my life I was food secure, and, like, that detail alone just, like, matters so much to me. That I could open the cabinet and I'd have food whenever I wanted, and it wasn't like I can only have one snack a day. It was like, eat when you're hungry. It was the first time in my life I think I've ever eaten just when I was hungry. It's like so wild that it took my whole life to get to this point. And then it vanishes pretty quickly, unfortunately, but it's definitely had a huge part in healing my eating disorder during this era. But yeah, my house completely changed. It was just, it went from being like a very like 70s like kind of house to like a very elegant, like rustic kind of house. Like, we had black granite countertops, and like Jim did this beautiful mosaic on the floor in the kitchen. Just like, he really loved interior design. Like, he really loved it, and he made our house so beautiful. And like, every room was renovated. Like, my room obviously was first, then my brother's, and the kitchen, and just like the whole house evolved. And it was at this point that Jim informed me that I had a college fund. He was just casually setting up a college fund for me. And at that time, you know, I'm 12 years old, you're not really thinking about college. But it was actually really interesting the way that he did it. He got me this porcelain piggy bank that was like literally mirror. Like, it was very metallic and it was blue. And he got me this piggy bank. And he was like, whenever you have extra change, I want you to put it in here. And then we're going to go to the coin machine and we're going to start putting stuff in your college fund. So you can save for your college fund, and I'm saving for your college fund too. And he was trying to teach me to like save and to like plan ahead for the future, which only adult who ever thought about that, by the way. Only adult who wasn't stuck in like current crisis mode, you know, survival. This is like the safe adult who actually had the sanity to like realize that I would grow into an adult someday. Crazy. And so the future was looking really good from this point. It's short-lived, but there was a point in my life where I was hopeful. And yeah, our sleepovers were so wholesome. We'd all sleep back to back and just hang out in my little, quote-unquote, little wolf's den, my werewolf's den, all night watching Avatar and eating gummies that we would call lychee nuts from Avatar. Like, we'd eat gummies with chopsticks. Like, we were so many good memories. I couldn't even possibly fit into one episode. This era was so specific. Like, genuinely, it feels like a new era. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, I almost had to question, like, if Parker started here. But it didn't. That's why you have, like, a little bit of an unmasked Blackbird being like, feels safe for once. Like, home is safe enough that I don't need to mask here. And then it just kind of ends with the foreshadowing that Jim is sick. And that it does come crashing down in a bad way, because good things don't typically last very long for me, unfortunately. I know that's like a pretty negative mindset, but it's been proven so many times I just believe it at this point. Something I'm working to undo. But, I know. Jim's the best. Ugh, I know, guys. It's gonna be really rough. Year 13's gonna be so sad and rough, I know. what happened to Jim's business once he passed. I don't know. I don't want to get into, like, everything right now. I'll get into it year 13, but I don't know a lot of what happened afterwards. And that was intentionally kept from us for a very specific reason. You'll find out. You'll just find out. Trust me, I will talk about it. Just be patient. But that was kitchen renovation, just kind of highlighting some really, really, really good parts of my life. Next episode is Chicago. This one is, I break bones in this one and I faint and there's some neglect going on. If you don't want to get rage baited by my mother, you don't have to watch this one. She's very annoying in this one. But this is a story about how I went to Chicago to meet Jim's family, because after the proposal, of course, Jim's grandparents wanted to meet who he was marrying. I loved his grandparents. They were so sweet. Oh my god, they're so wonderful. Wonderful people. His grandma would make me bagels with strawberry cream cheese every morning, and I just thought that was the sweetest damn thing. And she made fresh squeezed orange juice too. Like, they're just so cute and old and just little humble little people living in the Midwest. Just so nice. So, we went to Chicago, as that was like our first exposure to like real snow, and it was so much fun. We went before Christmas. It wasn't like on actual Christmas. We went before. And Jim showed us around the city, and we went to the Museum of Science and Industry. We went like all over the place, and like it was super windy. And you guys were complaining that my bean is upside down, and that's intentional. Copyright, guys. I can't like draw the actual bean. They will come for me. That artist is a jerk, okay? I'm not messing with that artist. If you ever want to know the most hilarious lore on the internet, go look up the lore behind the bean in Chicago. That artist is such an asshole and gets everything that happens to him is so deserved. Anyways, we're calling it the bean out of spite, okay? Also, my lord have mercy. Just because I mention a city doesn't give you full permission to be like, hey, I live there. Guys, please, for the love of all that is holy, like, be safe. Like, be safe. Please? Like, guys. I literally had to ban someone off my channel because they tried to tell me the street they lived on in Chicago. And tried to be like, did you go there? I'm like, why are you telling me your address? What is wrong with you? Like, please, just be safe. Oh my god, I can't emphasize this enough. Like, if I mention a specific location, that is not an open invitation for you to be unsafe. It's just me telling my story. Like, please. Whoa. Okay, anyways. Before I get upset. I very much enjoyed the bean and taking pictures with the bean and looking at my face in the mirror warpedness of the bean. It was very silly and fun. But right next to the bean was a little park that I brought Jim over to because they were ice skating and I wanted to go ice skating. And Jim thought this was the best idea ever. He was like, you're rollerblading all around the house all the time. Like, you're gonna be a professional. And like, brother, I am a Floridian. Painfully so. And so I was on the ice for maybe 2 minutes. I'm not even shitting you. I literally was on there. I wasn't even on there enough that nobody has pictures of me on the ice because I literally, this happened so fast I couldn't even get a little picture of me doing it, okay? So like, Jim was on the ice with me, by the way. My brother didn't want to go, my mom didn't want to go, so they were just out on like the outside, like taking pictures, and watching. And I was doing good. I was skating really well. I grew up as a gymnastics kid. I had pretty good balance, okay? And so I was doing fine up until like what I like to call a gaggle of teenagers zoomed past me. And they were like really going fast, y'all. And they knocked me off balance and I fell on my wrist and broke it in 2 places at the same time. And I never cried. I didn't think it hurt that bad. It was like an ache, sure, but it wasn't like what I thought breaking a bone would be like. So I didn't really understand what was happening. All I knew was that my breath was taken away because I was like in such an immense amount of pain. But I have such a high pain tolerance that I didn't really know that I broke a bone. Like, I was just like, oh, what the heck is happening? So I shuffled off the ice in my skates and I was like, oh god, what is happening to me? And then I fainted. I'd never fainted before. Like, so I didn't even know what, I was like very sleepy, you know. And I fell into the snow. And like, of course, everybody comes running over, like, oh my god. Because I guess, the people, like, that we were renting the ice skates from were, like, yelling at me to, like, stay on the ice. Obviously I wasn't gonna do that because I needed to pass out. Luckily I fell in some snow that was soft, hooray. But, I remember, I say this a lot, anybody who knows me, like, the last thing I remember hearing was that my mom told me to get up because I was embarrassing her. You know, the child that just fainted from breaking their bones twice in one go. Embarrassing her. Oh no, what a nightmare. Slash ref. So, Jim, of course, was like feeling really bad about this, was like, oh, you definitely broke it. My mom was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. She's just being dramatic. And so Jim was the only one taking this seriously, and wrapped up my arm in his scarf. Sidebar. This is about to get very sentimental. I have the scarf and the hat. To this day. It's one of the last things I have that are Jim's, is his hat and his scarf from the Chicago trip. It's very surreal that this is kind of all I have left. It makes me really, really emotional. But I tend to wear this sometimes on days that I feel like I need him to be with me. So sometimes in Persona Project you might see me in like my winter attire wearing this hat. And like, it's like all I have left. So and I have this scarf too that he wrapped up my arm. I just didn't want to go and get it. But I have the hat and the scarf, and it means a lot to me. Just little things I have left. And that train ride sucked. The whole train ride was just my mom being like, oh, it's not broken, and Jim being like, yeah, it is. And being like, well, we probably shouldn't go sledding tomorrow, you know, like, we had, like, all these plans to do, and, like, we had to cancel a lot of it because I, like, got hurt. And, like, Jim was taking it seriously, my mom was not. My brother had no idea what was going on, as per usual. Love that for him. And we got home, and Grandma was like, yep, it's broken. And my mom was like, oh my god, no it's not! And then, like, I thought it'd be really funny if we just jump cut to the doctor being like, my brother in Christ, it's broken in 2 places. Cause, like, literally, I went to school for 2 weeks afterwards with that broken wrist. 2 weeks! I went through the rest of that vacation, which was a week, and then 2 weeks afterwards of school. 3 weeks with a broken wrist. Just cause I would get some attention. Oh no! My kid getting more attention than me? We can't have that! We'll just cause some unnecessary neglect! Perfect! I don't know what's wrong with this woman, y'all. Oh my god, she's insane. Anyways, I went like almost a month with a broken wrist that was uncared for. It's honestly a miracle it healed the way it did. Immediately after they showed the x-ray, my mom, I remember, gasp, just went, like the most dramatic, fake-ass reaction. And, like, the doctor was, like, staring at this woman. I could feel the anger off of this man. When she was like, oh my god, I had no idea, oh my god, like, you know, like, she's doing the whole thing, like, my baby, oh my god, I'm such a horrible mother, I'm such a horrible mother. She loved playing that card. She loved playing that card. And so I just had me and the doctor be like, shut up! Like, goddamn, shut up! Like, you're so annoying and fake and stupid. And so, like, yeah, she never believed me. Up until a point that I came home from art class because my evil Miss Heron made me do pottery with a broken wrist that hadn't been treated for a month! You know my high pain tolerance? If I'm in that much pain that I'm crying while doing pottery, it probably really, really, really hurt. Like, bad. So, the fact that I was in that much pain really proves just how painful that must have been, because my pain tolerance is through the roof. Like, I didn't even cry when I broke it. So, the only reason why I got a cast was so that way I could stop going to PE and playing basketball and pottery in art class and writing essays in English. Which granted, I'm right-handed, but you always need, like, one hand to, like, hold stuff down. That shit hurted. Okay? So... yeah, it's just one of those things where she didn't believe me until, like, it was absolutely detrimental to believe me. I remember Jim signed my cast, and he felt so bad about how everything happened. But... we made the most of it. He wrote Poop Butt, or I don't think it was exactly Poop Butt. I genuinely don't remember exactly what he wrote, but it was something along that line. He definitely, it was, I don't think he signed Puffkin, but it was something about poop he put on there. It was so annoying. It might have even been like fart butt or something. I don't know. He put something with poop and butt on there, but I decided to narrow it down to Poop Butt. Can't remember the exact thing that he wrote, but I know it was something that had to do with stupid goddamn poop. He's obsessed. And like, it's just like a sweet episode of like, Jim being the only one there for me, and the only one being actually believing me. Oh, God. So grateful for this man. Alright, and then the last episode, the finale, the happiest finale we've had of Persona Project. Literally none of the years have ended good. This one is the exception. I'm so happy about it. This is iPad. And yes, I do have it. I'm gonna show you. Hold on. I still have her. This thing. This is the case that it came in. This is the keyboard case that it came in. It kind of props up like this. And it has a keyboard, and you can type on it. It's Bluetooth. It's actually really cool. But this is the iPad. It's actually in pretty damn good condition, all things considered. Because, God, I was, you know, a child when I got this thing. As you can see, it's a little dirty, but it's, like, not really any scratches on it. It's got one dink on the end here. It's, like, obviously fell off my bed. But no, I got like this really old, like 2016, like sticker on the back of all the vessels for 12. And this is the iPad. This is my iPad. It's still parental locked. I can't undo it. There's a freaking passcode on it that it's gone. So yeah, this is my iPad. This iPad made 12. This iPad made all the music for 12. This iPad recorded every single thing that happened on PetPyves, like, for the most part, up until, like, 2018. So, it has a lot of meaning to me. It still turns on. It just takes a while to charge. The battery is really messed up. I'm sure if I got the battery replaced, it'd probably be good as new. But it is an original iPad. Like, this is, like, the first one. Like, it released April, and then I got one for Christmas. Like, it was a few months old when I got this. So it's probably very outdated and wouldn't work very well. But man, I would really love to get it, like, up to speed and unlocked, for God's sake. Jim! It's really funny. I was gonna try and power it up just so I could show you guys that it's still parental locked, but I was like, it would just take so long. Because the battery is so messed up. But it's a trooper, that iPad. It's been through a lot. I might be able to get it unlocked, but again, I don't know, I kind of like it that way. It's how Jim left it, and it's really nice to honor him in that way. It feels like he's pulling a prank on me. I don't know if I want to unlock it. I don't know if I want to reset it, you know? It has too much memories. So yeah, this is, the Christmas that I had a broken bone. It was no fun. Showering sucked with a stupid plastic bag, and school was annoying, and holidays were hard. It was hard to, like, be excited for stuff when I was excluded from everything. We had this annual thing called the Jingle Bell Jog. I loved this shit. Oh my god, this is like a fundraiser where you'd, like, wear jingle bells on your wrists, and you'd run around and you jog around, like, the track. And it was, like, to raise money for charity, so every time you did a lap, they'd, like, donate money, and it was really cool. And we did it, like, every year, and I didn't get to do it this year because I freaking broke my wrist and I wasn't allowed to run. I had Wild Child here because not being able to run was, like, agonizing to my inner child. Like, inner Wild Child who couldn't run, misery. And my friends got to have my favorite class without them. It was just so sad. But there was a payoff waiting under the Christmas tree for me. And I included Frisco. My old orange cat Frisco is in the background of this one because he was a huge part of our holidays. We'd always take the little bows off of presents and put them on his little head. He loved it. He loved boxes and wrapping paper. So I opened up that gift and my iPad was in there. It was obviously not out of the packaging. It was just for artistic sake. Jim had obviously opened it and, like, changed the settings and everything for me, but it was in the packaging when I got it. And yeah, we used to take our littlest pet shops and put on videos on YouTube on it of, like, disco ball with rainbow lights and techno music, 12 hours or something, you know, like those, like, videos, and we'd, like, take our littlest pet shop boom boxes and, like, have them, like, have a little party. We loved using Jim's business iPad for our little pet shop parties, okay? And, like, every time Jim would have his little pet, not his little pet shop, his iPad, he had, like, a business iPad. Anytime he was home with it, we'd be like, can we have the iPad? We have the iPad. We'd play those, like, games where you draw with your fingertip and it's, like, fireworks or, like, glowing lights, and, like, we had, like, what was that game? That, like, impossible game with, like, the square, the cut the rope game with the little dragon guy. We had, like, all the classic, like, beginnings of App Store games on there. And we always begged him to play it. So he just finally got me my own. And, like, Bluebird also drew on her iPad. She had an iPad, and was a really good artist, and I remember being really jealous. And so he had listened and watched all of— oh, thank you!
Greetings from Florida. Have some fries, money.
What?!
I'm waiting for my connecting flight so I can fly back to Texas. Hope your day's been great.
Yo! Oh my god, I heard Florida was really cold today. My brother sent pictures of their grass and their plants were frozen with ice, dude! Wow. Howdy, Tyler. Thank you for the dodo, dude. Safe travels. Oh, man. But yeah, Jim was the only adult who listened to me and, like, watched what I actually was interested in. He got me the keyboard because he knew I wanted to be an author. Do you know how many times I walked up to my mother and would try to explain to her what Spy Cats was? Or The Rebels? Or 12? Or anything I was working on? In the way she could never remember. At my graduation, we were at dinner. And I turned to my mom, and I looked at my brother and I was like, watch this. And I was like, hey mom, what's the name of the book I'm writing? And she looked at me and she laughed nervously and she was like, come on, Anne, I don't know that. Which Anne is one of my middle name, by the way. And she'd often call me that. And man, dude, I tell you what, she couldn't answer me. And, like, my brother did the same thing. And she was like, to my brother, like, my brother was like, oh yeah? What do I want to go to college for? And she was like, you never told me that. And we're like, yeah, we did. Like 400 times. Like 500,000 times. We have told you about our dreams and our aspirations and things that we're interested in. And you never paid attention. And it sucks. It really sucks. Like, that most adults were like that in my life. Except for Jim. Jim actually paid attention and was like, yeah, I know you want to be an artist. I know you want to be an author. I know you want to use this iPad for, like, your stories and your little characters and your action figures and, like, things that you really like. And so, like, that's why this gift meant so much to me. It was just finally an adult saw me. Like, and, like, understood me. It was so crazy to me as, like, a child. Being seen for the first time was so emotional. I was bawling when I opened up that iPad. I was bawling. I was, like, crying. And then Jim told me it was parental locked. And, like, I did not care. I was so happy. And it was just, like, we hugged. And it was, like, one of my best memories with Jim, I swear to God. And yeah, I literally texted Bluebird all the freaking time on it. We'd, like, draw and, like, send pictures back and forth together, and, like, I wrote on it during Parker's era, and then I made 12 on it in Hawley's era. Like, it's so wild how, like, one thing changed the trajectory of my entire life, but it did, and, like, it went from, like, Spy Cats and composition books to this iPad making my animation career a literal reality. I wouldn't even be here right now, like, talking on this live stream if it weren't for this iPad. Like, this iPad gave me everything I needed, all of the tools necessary to push all of my talents into, like, actual, like, career paths, reality. Like, all of my dreams could be real. And, like, I included all of these little, hold on, let's look at all the little pictures I put in here. I included some, like, IRL drawings of some of Blackbird's little drawings of cats, of course. It's all pretty much cats. Yeah, it's all cats. Little notebook sketches, or, like, just, like, little art pieces I included. From, like, my actual, like, IRL journal, which is so cool. Zoom out, you silly program. There you go. But it was just so validating for me as a kid to be actually seen, my authentic self be seen, and to be given a tool to encourage being more of my authentic self. And in, like, this very dystopian and horrible setting I was in, it was, like, the best escape for me to be able to have the ability to create art. Like, art was my escape, and oh, I can't possibly just find words to, like, explain how much it means to me and how thankful I am. Like, I really did forget that, like, my bones were broken and that Blackbird forgot her wings were broken, because, like, we achieved something that most children just get naturally. But it was just so fulfilling to me to, like, finally be seen and heard and loved and encouraged to do the thing that I was meant to do. My authentic self, to be me, and to, like, make art. Like, no one has ever encouraged me in that path, so it's just so inspiring. And, like, I'm really glad to end year 12 on such a high note, because year 13 is going to be horrific. So it was just so important that I introduced the fact that I had an escape now to really show how I'm going to cope through everything that happens next. So that's just great. Raggedy Ann and Andy. Of course I've seen that, yeah.
At the Pug 5974, Jim isn't a stepdad. He's a dad that stepped up.
Hell yeah, the autistic nugget, let's go. No, you're right. You're right. Thank you for the dono. But yeah, Nirvana, actually, Raggedy Ann and Andy is exactly why my middle name is what it is. I got named after it. Like, I had those dolls growing up, yeah. But yeah, this is the episode that my dreams become a reality. Because one adult, the only adult I had, saw my potential and saw who I actually was. underneath everything. Underneath the trauma, underneath the mask, like, I was just an artist. And, like, just so awesome. It's just such an awesome part of my story, and I'm just so happy that I have good things to remind myself that, like, there are good times. And it's gonna make year 13 a little hard, because this year's been so fun and whimsical and silly and just all the middle school antics, and now we're about to head into some, like, of the worst things that's ever happened, and, like, such anger and vengeance and spite territory that is just so difficult. Anger is a hard emotion for me. Blackbird is my anger. You're about to find out why. It's a very hard emotion for me. So all I ask is for some grace as I deal with some pretty ugly, ugly truths of my family. And some really, really horrible things. Year 13 is gonna be a lot. I'm gonna have a good mix of some cheerful things in there. I did manage to figure out a few things I could include that would make it a little bit uplifting here and there. But it is a constant loss after loss after loss after loss after loss, to the point where I'm just gonna get you prepared now. This does not end happy. Blackbird's era does not end happy. And there's a very good and intentional reason that I chose to do that. Personally, I think it makes most sense that Blackbird doesn't get a happy ending. That just doesn't happen. Because I think there always needs to be a part of me that's angry. Because anger is a good emotion, it leads you to action. I'm tired. My family tried to teach me that anger was ugly, and that girls can't be mad, and that, like, you have to be quiet, and you have to be just accepting of everything bad that's ever happened to you, and just walk it off, and not talk about it, and be quiet. And for Blackbird to have a bad ending, I think that initially gives me the push to be where I am today. Like, if I followed along with the narrative my family wanted me to, I wouldn't be angry. Being angry is the most powerful, most amazing thing that has ever happened to me. And that is what year 13 is going to be all about. This building rage that boils over. And it's going to be a rough episode. Of course there's going to be a goodbye episode, guys. Why would I... That would be so weird if it just jump cuts to a new era without a proper conclusion. Come on, do you not trust me at this point? I know how to write, guys. Please! There will be a goodbye. It's just gonna be a sad one. That's all I'm trying to prepare you for. Because I think it's really important that there's a part of myself that is vengeful and angry and spiteful, and that is why I'm here telling my story. And I think that part of me needs to exist. And I think I'm allowed to be a little upset about everything that happened. Like, I think that's valid. So, that is what that exists to do. And I know not many people are gonna really appreciate that. They're gonna be like, why did you do that? Blackbird didn't deserve that. And I'm like, that's the point. I didn't deserve anything that happened to me. We can all agree on that. Like, that's the whole point. That's the point. So... yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's a very short year, though. I kept it very short and simple. Some of the episodes are really short. Some of them are really long. So please pay attention to the content warnings. They are serious. About as serious as you can possibly get. I'm sure YouTube is gonna hate me. YouTube's gonna hate me. They're gonna send that demonetization hammer down on me, and they're gonna go, no way in hell are you gonna do this. But I'm gonna host a few fundraisers, with some of the topics at hand. I really want to have fundraisers, so that way at least there is a positive, to the really horrible scenarios that are about to occur. But oh man, not every story has a happy ending, and like while my story ultimately probably will at the end of my life, there are just parts of it where chapters close and there's no resolution. There's no explanation. There's no proper pretty little bow to tie everything together. It's life. It doesn't happen like that. It's not like a fictional story. Like, I think it's really important that it kind of, like, jolts you awake in that way. And you realize not everyone gets a happy ending. And it's sad, but it is a hard truth. And it's not necessarily has to be a horrible thing either. Like, I've come to a very radically accepting point in my life. Radical acceptance is a therapy term. Look it up if you need to. Where I look at the unjust things that have happened to me, and I have learned to justify them in my own right and make my own closure, and seek my own justice. And this is how I do it. But yeah, for the last part of this, I'll answer some more questions for the next 5 minutes or so. So if you have any more questions about year 12, feel free to ask now. Hero number. Thank you, dude. That's so sweet. Thank you, thank you. I'm so bad at making hearts. What is that? That is not a heart. Hold on. Focusing. I'm focusing. There you go. Oh, God, that was horrible. Oh, thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for listening to me this entire time. That's a big ol' ramble. I love rambling on these because I get to tell all the little tiny details here and there that make a huge difference in why this is so personal. Have any tips on how to get used to someone's new pronouns? Honestly, I don't, because I'm queer myself, and it's just so natural for me. If somebody says, hey, I'm changing my pronouns, I just go, okay. If you really need to practice, change the contact in your phone.
When did you get the idea for persona?
Oh, I'll answer you in a second, just call me Austin. Changing, like, in front of their name in, like, your contacts, put their pronouns in the name. So you're always reminded when you see them messaging you what their pronouns are now. That could probably help out, but I don't really have much advice other than I know it's hard for some people, but it's very hard for me to understand how that's hard. I apologize. Like, I'm just very queer. And just let the person know that you're trying and ask them specifically what you can do. I'm sure they have very specific things that they would be able to help you with if you ask. Like, I think the best thing is to ask a specific person how you can help them. Showing that you're trying really will matter, and apologizing if you mess up, and immediately correcting yourself is a good practice as well. But just call me Austin. Thank you for the dono. How did I get the idea for persona? Therapy. My therapist thought that I was at the end of my healing journey, and she wanted me to write a personal narrative. And so, after many trials and errors of trying to write that, I decided animation was going to be the best route. And that's the short of it. That's how I ended up here. Have I played the Papa's games? Yes, Papa's Freezeria is the best, alright? Did I ever have a prank war with Jim? No, I could never challenge that man to a prank war. That would not end well. Oh, any shows on Nickelodeon that I liked at the time? Addison. SpongeBob, obviously, is a huge part of my personality. Every other sentence I say is a SpongeBob reference, I swear to God. Yeah, it's like SpongeBob. I don't really recall any that I was like super infatuated with other than SpongeBob. I'd watch it like every day kind of thing. When will the next video be out? Tomorrow. I'm gonna, you guys are gonna be getting a drawing speed art video of drawing my Eris's Pokemon. I'm really excited about it. Members will get access to it today. And then the rest of the public will get it tomorrow. So, right after the stream, members will get access to that lovely little speed art. I'm really excited about it. Favorite snack of year 12? Oh my god, these stupid Pringles things. They were called Pringles sticks, like with an X, and they were like pizza sticks. They were so good, bro. I was obsessed with those things. Those and Yogos. The Yogos, the yogurt covered gummies. Oh, damn, those things were good. Did I ever watch the Viva Pinata cartoon? No. I did not. The voice acting it was so uncanny. I didn't like them talking. It scared me. Oh god. Let's see. Favorite design I've done for Persona project? I mean, Wild Childs is obviously really good. I just think I peaked there with the mask and with the hair and everything, and the tadpole tail. I just love drawing her to bits. It's like every time I get a chance to draw her, I'm like, yes, dude! I get so excited. Robin too. Like, hell yeah, I love both of them. Oh gosh. As an adult, what type of bender would I be? I'm still a firebender. I'm still a firebender. That ain't changing. Once a firebender, always a firebender, bro. I'm too passionate. I'm too fiery. I'm too spiteful. Oh goodness. I'm sorry if I miss any questions. I am doing my best. There is a lot of you. Mind you, there's a lot of you. There's more of you than me, that's for damn sure. Which of the eras is hardest? This one! Blackbirds! Everything that ever has happened that's been horrific in my life has happened here, and you've watched a majority of it already happen. Year 13 is about to get the worst, but... So there's some exceptionally bad things in Hawley's era, but for the most part, this is kind of the worst. I'll feel a lot better when it's all concluded, and I will be like, oh my god, the worst is over now. Like, it already feels good that we have one more year left. It's just, I feel very at peace with it already. What do you think other eras will come after Robin? Yeah, I have an inkling. Within the next year or so, I'm kind of due for a new era, and I'm kind of scared. I don't know what it's gonna be like. I'm feeling a fish, though. I might have a fish person. I might return back to being a water entity like Wild Child, because I went back to being Blackbird, like a bird, and now I want to go back to being Wild Child. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to predict the future, but I do know that from this point on, I'm sure I'm gonna still undergo phases of life that I will call back upon and be like, well, yeah, that was during this era, so I don't foresee that stopping anytime soon. My favorite Amazing Digital Circus character? Kinger! I actually... Here's a secret in the background. I made this little Kinger out of clay. He's doing the actually. With his little fingy up in the O. I love my little Kinger. He's goofy, I put him by my TV. That's my little secret. Oh god. Return to monkey, except it's return to fish. Yes. Oh goodness. Everybody's so excited about Kinger. I drew Kinger in a doodle the other day and everybody freaked the hell out. I was like, oh my god. Help! Oh god. Out of all the eras, which one's my favorite? Wild Child and Parker. I think I said this earlier in this exact stream. Wild Child and Parker. Ugh, so most of my favorite era. Ah! Sorry, Bibi. I'm like hitting the keyboard. I'm sorry. I mean to scare you. I'm sorry. Did you ever have non-Nintendo consoles? Not really, bro. I had an Xbox. I had like an Xbox, and that was like kind of it. If the eras were dogs, what would they be? That is a good question, Meow. Cat forever. Oh. Blackbird's a Chihuahua, 100%, because I had a teacup Chihuahua, and I think that would be appropriate. Wild Child is so hyper, dude. I think Wild Child's like probably a lot more golden retriever energy. Parker might be like a basset hound. Hawley, it's really hard because I only imagine Hawley as a cat. But if I had to pick a dog for Hawley, maybe it'd be like a black lab. Or like one of those little weenie dogs. Haley, I think it'd be great if it was like a big dog, like a Great Dane, or even, oh, I know, Robin's gonna be a collie dog. Collies are so beautiful, they have long hair. Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be our stream for the day, guys. Holy crap, it's been like 3 hours. I'm tired. Yo, thank you for being a member! I don't know how to pronounce that. I think that might be Minecraft Enderman or another language. I do apologize. I don't know. But welcome to being a peevlet. I do apologize. I cannot read that. Oh god. Okay, so here's our plans, guys. Here's our plans for the channel for the next little bit of while. Yeah, so I did draw the Eris as Wobble Dog. I saw Blackbird as a Wobble Dog. Made me so happy. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. Yeah, so no, alright, so this week we have Drawing My Eris as Pokemon coming out. That'll come out later today for members, and then it'll be public for everybody else on Monday. And then I have some shorts. We're gonna start year 13 right away, but I do want to ask for some patience. I do have a procedure this week, and I'm gonna be in recovery. I'm getting surgery. So I need everybody to be a little patient on uploads. I might get a little bit sidetracked, to say the least. I might be a little down and out for a little while. So please behave, and please be patient. I am a chronically ill disabled person who is constantly going through medical crises, so thank you for your patience. That'll be happening, so we'll just be starting year 13. It'll be a slow start. Wasn't really expecting to get this procedure, so kind of threw my wrench in my plans. I'm not going to be able to finish Blackbird's Era by my birthday now, but we will finish by the end of March, so that's the current trajectory of things. Otherwise, I have some more gaming videos. I just recorded an Animal Crossing Ships and Build series, more Wobble Dogs, more Brightside. So that's what February is going to be all about. Just some long-form videos here and there, and mostly just concluding Blackbird's Era this next month. So thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for the fan art. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the likes, the views, everything that you do to interact with my channel. You're helping keeping this artist alive, so I appreciate it. And that's all, folks. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And remember to drink water. Remember to practice self-care. Be kind to yourself. And, oh, wow, what a doozy. We will take on year 13, and we will get through it, and Parker's Era is on the horizon. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!